Hi.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Casual Cactus and the Glassbreakers Guild. We are here, ready to go for our enjoyment and your viewing pleasure. We are here for our normal weekly D&D games, and we are so very happy to have you along for our to watch us as we have fun. We're just having fun. Few announcements before we get started. As always, we do have our YouTube channel. That is a good place for you to go to find all of the back episodes and anything video related that we put up. Reminder that the episode that you're watching right now will be live on YouTube. It'll be available on YouTube for you on Sunday morning at 8 a.m. Mountain Time. That's GMT minus 7 for you guys elsewhere. I leave that to you to figure out what actual time that is. We are also running a Discord. We are running a Discord server, but on the subject of the YouTube channel, if you do go there and watch the videos, be sure you hit the subscribe and like button and ring the little bell so that anytime we put up new content, you get the notification. That'll help us out a little bit on that platform. And if you're not already a subscriber or a friend to us here on Twitch, be sure and do that as well so you'll get the notification when we go live here. As far as the Twitch channel, we do also run, we'll also run a replay of this tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. again Mountain Time. And then on Monday mornings, starting at 8 o'clock, we run the last 2 weeks worth of episodes as reruns as well. So lots of places where you can find replays and catch things if you happen to miss them. Obviously, it's also available as a video on demand on Twitch as well. I've already mentioned the Discord server, so go check that out. It's a good place to keep in touch with us and to keep abreast of any last-minute changes to the schedule that might crop up. Life happens. We're all really busy. We know you guys know that because you're busy too, and especially right now when everything is up in the air. The schedule is a suggestion most of the time. Discord's a good place to keep in touch with that. We're also, I think, ready to post some of the behind-the-scenes role-playing that has been happening both before and since the campaign has started. So those will be posted on Discord. You can check those out. We've also got a couple of sections where if you've got a role-playing character that you're really fond of, that you really like, you can bring them into the Hagsmaster and interact with other characters from other games. So you'll want to take a look at all of that. I think that is all I have in the way of announcements. We do have a couple of extra people around the table, at least short term. One of them is, of course, Erin. Say hi. Say hi. Hey. And so she'll be with us shortly until she's not anymore and not on camera. We do have a spectator at the table watching us right here live in the room as all of the shenanigans go down. So if you hear an extra,
she's lovely.
If you hear an extra voice and can't place where it's coming from, that would be why. It's not, and you're not seeing things or hearing things as the case may be.
Even impacting seeing his ventriloquism.
All right, I think that's it. So let's, without any further ado, this is the point of the night where I'm going to call for a replay. Or, Danny, I think it falls to you.
But we'll be taking notes this time, so
good.
Next time.
I'm pretty sure I took notes.
I'll never take notes.
Okay, I have one note.
Oh gosh.
You guys are gonna have to fill in a lot of blanks here. Oh gosh.
We'll get to the bottom of oh gosh.
This book might be bleeding.
I have no idea what just happened.
I think
I don't know.
Oh, maybe. Oh no.
Okay.
I'm gonna try, and you guys are gonna have to fill in a lot of blanks. Okay, so we discovered that my mother is also the mother of Adrian, which was super awkward because we were set up on a date of sorts, so that was super awkward. There, like shortly after that, Killian ended up in a. No, that was. I'm trying to remember. Was the forest thing last time, or was that one
No,
of yours?
that was last time.
Okay.
That was last time.
He followed his
House guest.
grandmother and house guest. No.
Well, I didn't know
Kendai.
my grandmother was there, so I followed their house guest.
Kendai.
Into the
Yes, Kendai.
Yeah.
Kendai, the house guest, followed her into the middle of the woods where he discovered very friendly shrubs that like to hug things.
Like warm hugs.
Yes, warm bushy hugs. That's weird. And they discussed that something was amiss, and there were flame burping bugs that had come about.
Sure. Yep.
Hello, Aquatics girl. Welcome.
Hey, Aquatics!
Ew.
Hi, aquatics.
So yeah, the belching of fire from insects discovered that Killian has magic ancestry and is ish.
Sure. Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then the next day, the the lumber company burned down, and we ended up getting dragged into. Well, no, we ran into the fire after Bucket Boy over here.
Well, don't say bucket boy. They,
You
I
are
want
now
that to
Bucket
stick.
Boy. You are now Bucket Boy.
indeed.
We ran into a fire after him, and since he had his bucket covering his eyes, he did not notice that Killian was extinguishing the fire in front of him with magic. Cabbage and I, however, figured that part out. I think that was the general gist.
And
What am I
then
missing?
4 adventurers arrived. Well, adventurers,
Ah,
quote
yes.
unquote, arrived.
Yes.
You want
And that's a short synopsis of what happened, yes.
Yeah, I'm sure that there are a lot more details I could have thrown in there if I had remembered them.
No, that's fine. It's Cliff Notes.
Yeah, Cliff Notes version. So yes, unless anybody would like to add anything.
I'm gonna re-roll that one.
Well
I am
done.
not doing neuroticism tonight.
Mizuki made a deal with Killian's grandfather. Also.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right.
A
That's
business
right.
deal. Yeah.
All right.
It was an okay deal.
All right. Does anyone else have anything that they wish
Yes.
to add to the recap?
Awards were arranged for
Yes.
both Adrian
Right.
and
Mizuki.
not Katsumi. Yes, Mizuki.
All right.
I'm really gonna have to work on that.
No one is gonna be able to get her name. I kind of love it.
Okay. So there was that, and there were a few other things that you were wanting to do between, if you want to go into all of that.
Okay, we're gonna do that on camera.
What are we doing?
Don't ask.
So, a man in monk's robes walks through the streets of town. He wanders upon a stall, and
Well, that's not what I had in mind, but we'll go with that.
okay. Then we can do a different thing. There was the
No,
birthday
no, no.
party.
You started. Go now.
Dang it!
You're digging this hole. You're gonna finish
Yeah.
it. And you're gonna dig your own grave.
Grabs an apple from a stall and continues walking. With shouts from behind, he carelessly throws a match towards one of the houses in town and quickly turns down an alley.
This
now
is in our town?
roll me.
Yes.
Roll me a d20.
7.
The match does not hit what you were aiming for, so it falls short and
Intent is still
basically snuffs itself out in the mud of the street. So, no harm, no foul there, and nobody noticed that you took an apple. So you're so far you are making absolutely no impression.
So noticing that, this same man, okay, heads for the blacksmith shop.
Oh dear.
At least it's you and not us, Killian. Glad to see you taking one for the team.
He wanders in. Is there anyone there?
What?
I mean, what time of day
This
is
is
this?
Midday.
Midday? Almost certainly, yes. There is Killian is at his customary spot at the forge. He's sort of beyond the master of the forge, dwarf, rather stocky dwarf, known around town as Draxus. There are also two other apprentices that are close by working on small pieces. All four of them are busy at their respective anvils and the forge fires. The fire down towards Killian is ever so slightly brighter and ever so slightly hotter than all of the rest.
Cheater. Okay, so he steps in and sort of surveys everything. And let's see.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Oh no.
I'll be with you in a second, the dwarf says.
He pulls off his glove and waits.
Challenges the dwarf to a duel.
Alright, so Draxus gets to a stopping point with the piece he's working, and the metal has cooled sufficiently so that it is no longer hot enough to actually work. He takes the piece in his tongs, sticks it back in the fire. You can see it appears he's got 2 or 3 bits of stock in the fire heating up, but where he would normally take a second piece to work it, he actually steps away. I'll be right back, lad.
So
To
actually,
Killian.
the man steps over and is sort of just observing what is going on.
So you wouldn't. There is.
Is there a counter?
Yeah, there's a barrier to keep
People like you.
Excuse me.
customers away. Well, no, it's there to keep
Indeed.
the customers away from the dangerous work of the forge, because
Yeah, that makes
sparks are flying, hot metals. Definitely don't want people in that area, but he also wants to be able to see people come and go. So the front of the blacksmith is a little bit open, and it's got the counter, and then further back there is the forge and anvils and grindstones and all of the accoutrements that a blacksmith would have.
Okay.
So he sets his work aside
Then
and he
actually-
steps over to the counter.
While he is turned away, the man will light his glove on fire.
So Killian, you're going to catch all of this
Okay.
because of the way that you have
How do
aligned
you light?
yourself.
How do you light it on fire?
Flint and tinder. Alma has planned for this. It is soaked in oil.
Oh my gosh.
And so is your hand.
No.
Yeah, which is fine.
Oh no.
He is going to set the glove down by whatever he can find that is wood. If the counter is wood, perhaps.
It is.
He's going to light it and exit.
And the Draxus seeing all this, hey, what? And he runs over and he starts beating the coal
Does
fire.
anything light quickly? I mean, I did. Yeah, I was gonna say.
Not. Well, let's see.
Alma is not a particularly good criminal.
Okay, so one of your fellow apprentices has been a little bit lackadaisical in cleaning the shop. You know, he's been doing it. He was tasked with wiping everything down at the end of the day, and he's done that. But he left one the rags that's soaked in dust, and a little bit of the oil that's used for quenching hot metals. He just kind of left that. Not really obviously in any place that it could be
Right,
could be seen.
Who expects someone to come in and light their glove on
Right.
fire, right?
So he's got it sort of tucked in a little out of the way spot behind one of the pillars that holds the roof up, but the glove lands right next to it, and the rag goes up, and it's starting to char the timber that is the column that is now.
Can I just go grab that and throw it in one of the forge fires?
Yeah, go ahead. Make me a dexterity check.
Oh.
Natural 20.
So
You're smart enough to bring the tongs.
So
with you.
actually, yeah. So as you run away, you grab up the tongs, and you're getting there about the time that Draxus is about to beat his hand down, and you reach past him, and you snag up both the gloves and the rag, and toss them in the forge. That was mighty peculiar.
Yeah, I've never seen a man come into the forge to light his clothing on fire. It's definitely a first.
Neither have I, lad, and that worries me. That worries me greatly. Can you keep an eye on things here? I have to go speak with the the militia.
Sure, yeah. I can
Aggressively
watch things.
starts loading shotgun.
he takes his apron off. He hangs it in his normal spot, and he leaves the forge. Now, you've been an apprentice for a fair amount of time.
Mhm.
In all the time you've been there, you have never seen Draxus leave the forge in the middle of the day. Make me an insight check.
What did you just do?
18.
You scared a man who's hiding.
Draxus is troubled by something. You're not sure what, but he's troubled by something as he's leaving the forge.
And there was no clue that was you, right?
I mean, no.
I'm gonna go look in Draxus's quarters for that box.
Okay? You actually can't find it.
I'm gonna look thoroughly.
Make me an investigation check.
What was playing?
19.
You look thoroughly. You check every place you can think to check. Under the bed, sort of tap on the walls looking for hollow spots, tap on the floor looking for hollow spots. You feel along the walls looking for any place that might have been carved out. It is not in this room.
Okay. Alright, yeah. I'll go back to doing forge things then.
Alright.
Now, was there something you intended when you, aside from the birthday party? I just don't remember.
You had a project.
Oh, yes! So, Alma, after he has finished with his chores for the night, every night for the last 3 nights, has been working on plans, and passing along his plans to both Simi and, Killian, for a design for something approximating a wheelchair for the man that they saved, whose legs were pinned under the tree. The previous night, the first night, and then
Okay.
previously. That's the word I wanted. Previously.
Are these good plans? Are we talking like Sokka from Avatar level, like crown drawings, or are we talking like blueprints and
Roll a
schematics?
prosthetics check.
I mean, so Alma has read a fair bit and is probably accustomed. So it may not be good necessarily, but it is in a good layout as far as like he has it set up in 3 separate sections on the sheet,
Okay.
so that there's a front, a side, and a back. Or sorry, a front, a side, and a top rather. And then he has passed those along for adjustments as will definitely be needed.
That's cool.
Okay, so make me a performance check.
That is a 19.
Okay. So the drawings are okay. So so the drawings themselves are really, really good. Now make me just a straight intelligence check.
Really?
6.
6. Okay. So while your drawings are fantastic, they're very detailed, well drawn, laid out nicely. The idea you have is utter rubbish.
It's like the bike drawings. Every time
Mhm.
somebody tries
Yep.
to draw a bike,
Yep.
it's just like that. That doesn't work.
That's
like
not
like
right.
you have 2 sides of a rectangle, and one side is actually longer than the other side of the
Right.
rectangle, but it's drawn so well that you can't tell.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah. And you were giving those to Killian and who?
Streamy.
And Simi? Okay. So when the two of you get them, you recognize that these are really good drawings of a really terrible idea.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
But you get the idea that he was going for, which is
How much work would it take to turn this into a really good idea?
You're probably looking at least 3 days to redesign it, and then after that, maybe about a week or so of fabrication.
So can I do a medicine check to figure out how anatomically this should, like, I need to correct this?
Yeah, go right ahead.
Oh, that's why he's giving it to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was wondering.
I have decent education and I have some, like, I don't have proficiency, but it is my higher thing, so that's gonna be +3, so that's gonna be a 16.
Sure.
Yeah,
It's a
you,
6.
you can figure out what you're going to need to do to make this work. For starters, the seat is entirely too high off the ground. I'm not real sure what he was
Like a
going
high
for
chair on
there. It's like, okay, so his lower legs are not that tall. Or maybe he forgot that you have to have something to actually sit on, like butt-wise, and so he gave you the entire leg length to the ground and then put a seat and a back.
The buttless wonder! Sorry.
So are you sharing your alterations to his plan with him or me?
I would probably be, once the plan is in our hands, I would probably
Oh,
be
okay,
going
okay.
like with you.
Smart.
Because I was going to say, it would be
Smart.
really funny if we both show up with 2 totally different versions of this. Okay,
All right,
I will work
okay.
on it.
So
then,
you guys
that's fine.
are going to be working on that, and we'll read that as read, and we will move on. Was there something else?
I don't think so. I think those are my 2 things.
Okay. Was anybody else doing anything in the days immediately following the fire?
Just what I normally do.
Oh.
So. Oh.
I remember.
I thought there was one more.
I was going to try to figure out how the arrows were lit. The goblin arrows.
Okay. Make me a nature check.
That could be worse. 15.
15. Okay. So it looks as though there was some kind of not really a liquid, but Yeah, kinda.
Like a gel or
Like a
repellent
gel
of
or
some sort?
something that was applied to the arrowheads.
So if we catch fire beetles and
To-
squash them up.
You're not really sure what it was, but because of the events of the last few days,
Fire stuff?
you're guessing it
Dragons.
might have been guts from the fire beetles.
That was just really great across.
Sorry.
But
Take the
first.
child.
This is a test run of how well your daughter does when she's not the center of everyone's attention.
Well, I mean, it could be worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She is
Okay. Sorry, that was my only thing.
So yeah,
Travel as need be, it's fine.
and that's Mike. That's she's babysitting. At
She's
the moment,
awesome.
So she's awesome.
We like Mike.
Yeah. All right. Anybody else doing anything in the days immediately following the fire?
Cabbage is sort of mulling over that idea I told you about.
Oh dear.
You're
I
gonna
will chat you.
yeah chat me.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Would there be a risk of me seeing Alma as monk dude?
Only who timed it
Make
right.
me. What is your passive perception?
Oh, I don't know. It's just wisdom.
What's your perception
plus-
bonus?
Perception bonus is gonna be. I have proficiency, so plus
7.
7.
Yes, sir.
Really?
Because it's
4. Isn't it just 5?
no, it's 5. Sorry, I've
5. I was like,
So,
how?
Add 10 to that. So add 10 to that. So 15. You are actively not trying to hide, clearly. So I would say there, at some point, probably about the second day that the monk is in town, you catch sight of a somewhat familiar but a little bit off figure.
Alma's
As
gonna get put
he
in the
darts
hospital.
into, as he darts between two of the buildings in town.
Someone's gonna get hurt.
no kill him right off the first. We don't have to deal with him if you just kill him right. right now.
I'm gonna hang back and follow him.
All right.
He's not there.
Okay.
There is a little girl in the alley, a little dwarf girl, and she's in, a big bundled, not a cloak necessarily, but it definitely looks too big for her, but she's just sort of huddled there, and she looks at you as you go by. She sort of points down the alleyway.
Yes, you do need to.
Deception.
So you made an insight check.
Yep. It's plus 5.
17 plus 6,
Oh, he's
No,
gonna beat me.
He's gonna beat you.
23?
I was like, oh no, I
She
got
rolled
a
a
21.
21s.
All right. So
By
yeah.
the skin of your teeth.
So yeah, the little dwarf girl points you down the alleyway.
I was
and
about to have to choke a
you
little
keep,
dwarf girl.
you keep going, and you turn the corner.
Where are the drugs going?
You turn the corner, and there's a long stretch between buildings as they front the streets on the other side. There's a stray dog crossing the path 3 or 4 houses down, but there's nobody in sight. And you
Good
turn
dog.
and you look the other direction, and there's nothing inside that direction either. And then you turn around, and the little dwarf girl is gone now as well.
Spooky.
I'd say more suspicious than anything.
Yeah, you just hear this. Shit. If you're close enough to hear it at all. She's just like lividly angry right now, and she's not sure if she should be lividly angry at the monk or if she's lividly angry at Elma. She's just angry.
That's my secret. I'm always angry.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Any other shenaniganry that we need to get up to?
Not from me.
Well,
I'm
so
a good
far it's all
boy.
been from one
Sorry.
person.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Trying to be a hog.
Mizuki, what are you up to these days?
I'd assume I'd assume I probably went and visited the tailor, so
Okay.
was parents'
All right.
shop and
So you wind up at the shop, and taking a look around, you are seeing that even though this is a very out of the way sort of establishment, the work being done here is very fine.
Okay.
It is a couple of seasons out of date, as you would expect this far from the center of the empire, but for all of that, the work is very, very fine. Fine materials are being used, and you know from experience that that's probably that's probably being done at not tremendous expense given the area, but they're definitely getting as well as they can for this area. You sort of surreptitiously check some of the bolts of cloth that
Okay,
line
yes.
the wall, and you do see the watermarks of a couple of your competitors. So your
Okay.
family has, some of the competitors of your family's enterprise. Clearly, that's being shipped in.
Okay.
So you see an opportunity, perhaps.
Right. Then I will.
Waiting for that.
Just vanished. I reached down and she was gone.
All right, so I guess I'll discuss about picking up some, like
Okay.
us sending some fabrics that
Okay.
are like purchase or them purchasing for
Okay. Oh, we're always looking for new suppliers, of course. We've done business with the Jade Pagoda. The Jade Pagoda. Wow, why is that so hard to say? With the Jade Pagoda. They've always treated us very well. They are a little on the pricey side, but the fabrics wear well and cut well, and clearly we've been able to do well with them. I would be interested do you have any samples with you that we could peruse? And
I'd assume I
Yeah,
have
yeah,
some
of course you
samples,
would.
So obviously I brought
All right, so
many samples.
roll me a persuasion check.
Unnatural 20.
Unnatural 20, excellent. Okay. It's a very productive meeting.
Okay.
You are able to provide. You're able to convince the tailor and his wife both
Okay.
that your family can provide wares that are as good or better than what they've been getting, and at not a substantial savings, but at a lower price point for them, so they'll be better and less expensive, and they're very interested in perhaps purchasing from you.
Okay.
About halfway through the afternoon, and remind me of their names. I have.
Oh, Anna and Kel.
So about halfway through the afternoon, Anna goes over to the stove, puts a kettle on, and pulls out a tin of something, and she turns to you. Would you care for some tea?
Certainly, yes.
All right.
She says apprehensively.
Will it be
What's the
tea?
worst that could happen?
Or will
Well,
it
I've
be
already
dirt
had pretty
water?
bad tea.
Okay. So
I'm
the
wary.
You
so
snub you.
it's
The most.
you've had really really bad tea. You've had really really good tea. This falls somewhere in the middle.
Okay.
Not like it's not great, but it's not like awful either. And so you're able to be polite and actually get through the entire serving of it. And as you're finishing up, Alma does come in from wherever he's been.
Hi, Mizu.
Hello, Alma.
How are you today?
I'm doing well. I'm
Good.
just discussing business matters.
Ooh. I'll go to my room.
Now he stays out of things.
When has that ever worked?
It's all right, boy. We're
Yeah,
just about
we're
done
wrapping up, I
with things here.
I remembered last time.
Yes, well, thankfully we got it out of the way before you got home. How was your day actually?
Oh, really good. I got a lot done, and I think I know what I'm doing for tomorrow too.
Okay, excellent. You're staying out of trouble, yes?
Always.
Okay. Remind me, Anna, I need to check around town to see if anything weird happened.
Can I help with dinner?
Yes, actually. And you and your mom go into the kitchen and start making dinner. Adrian,
Oh, hi.
what are you up to for the next couple of days after the fire?
My chores, working on in the
Okay.
winery, what I'm supposed to do.
Okay. Anything?
No,
No.
no.
All right.
Oh, bucket.
You do catch your
Yeah, that's gonna stick.
you do catch your mom, sort of peering out the window on occasion, as though she's looking for someone. She doesn't say anything. She doesn't go out of her way to seek anyone out. Her routine remains her routine. She's a busy woman. She's got things to do and the vines to tend just like you do. She's got the barrels to make sure they get rotated and tastings that need to be done to make sure that everything is aging as it's supposed to. Over the course of those couple of days, couple more barrels finish their process, or at least finish well enough that they can be turned over and put into fresh, clean barrels. Take all the sediment out, and then rolled down to the warehouse to be theoretically loaded aboard the Fortune's Folly for the trip downriver.
Right.
Late in the day on the second day,
Okay.
you do get a messenger, or she gets a messenger, I should say, from the office of the Iron Lotus. He brings apologies. I'm terribly sorry, mistress, but I must inform you that the Fortune's Folly is going to be laid up for several days. She took some damage on her most recent trip and is in need of repairs and refit. We do apologize. Clearly, we will be discounting the cost of passage for your goods once the Fortune's Folly is able to make the trip back down the river. Your mother takes the news in stride, thanks the messenger, and sends him on his way. When he leaves, she sits in her armchair and just kind of puts her hand to her forehead. There's an old saying, it never rains but it pours. When one thing goes wrong, everything seems to go wrong.
Yeah.
Things come in threes.
I like that she just knew in advance to explain the phrase after she said it.
Yep.
Yep.
That's how that goes.
Poor Adrian.
Well, on the plus side, we had half a dozen barrels that were close, but we're going to miss the shipments. We'll have time to get them ready now.
Yeah.
Except for the 48. Let's hold back a couple of those for the Harvest Festival.
Okay.
Which brings us to the Harvest Festival. It is coming up time for that. Yet again, the town is bustling. Preparations are being made for...
Did you just run into the door?
No, she's strapping pool packs down the stairs.
Okay, you guys cannot see the hilarity that's going on off camera, but it's
We're just gonna
great.
take that away.
So
She's learned gravity.
We're testing physics. It's fine. It's all fine.
So it is almost time for the annual Harvest Festival. It celebrates the end of another growing season. It heralds in the approaching winter, and always coincides with the annual Kagathi meteor shower.
Now this is a semi-religious holiday, yeah, from the old world.
Yes, it has its roots in that, giving thanks to the goddess of nature for another bountiful season. In recent sort of decades, that part of it has been tamped down with the influence of the empire growing such as it has. But some of those that still hold to the old ways do remember when the festival, or their families remember when the festival had more of a religious connotation to it, yes.
Is this the same festival that, like, the monks do the fasting thing before, or is that a different
No,
thing?
this is a
Okay.
different one entirely.
Making sure, because that would also put things differently in the timeline, and I
Yeah,
had to get
yeah,
that
no,
straight
no,
in
no.
my
This
head.
is a different
Okay.
observance.
It's been several decades since we stopped sacrificing goats.
Does the order do anything?
Um,
Or is this...
not particularly.
That was her running.
That was her
running under the door.
So not particularly, because it does have such a deep religious sort of background to it. The order, the Apellian order, does recognize that it's a time to be thankful for what has been brought in, but they don't ascribe it to any particular deity or anything.
Okay.
So for them, it becomes more of a is sort of a celebration of the harvest, and tends to coincide with a lot of days in the fields bringing in the late season harvests.
Okay.
Hooray.
So that's the town is gearing up for that. The decorations are going up. The plans for the festivities are coming together. Food, wine, entertainment, those sorts of things are sort of coming together. Are any of you seeking out specifically the new visitors in town from last time.
Oh.
Well,
Yes.
I'm manning the
Cabbage
wine
totally
booth, so
would.
they will come to me.
Yes.
I didn't see them. So.
Yes?
I
Okay.
didn't see that either.
So I will say Mizuki, Mizuki?
Yes,
Yes,
Mizuki.
Mizuki. I'm going to be a little hesitant on that until I'm sure. But you have seen them because you've seen them probably more than the rest,
Oh.
simply because they are also staying at the Headless Hydra
Oh,
with
okay.
you.
They're staying at the house.
Yeah,
Okay.
every morning it seems like there is a yell from downstairs in sort of the direction of the kitchen, and the cook comes flying out with her broom out in front of her, chasing a couple of ferrets that have gotten into the kitchen and have grabbed bits of the lamb and bits of the chicken and fish that are being cooked in the kitchen. Keep those blasted beasts out of my kitchen! Every morning. Every morning. And without fail, the ferrets will run across the common room and up the stairs, and you'll hear a door open and slam shut behind them as they disappear into their master's room
Quite the morning racket.
every morning.
Every morning. Alright.
So, Cabbage, what are you doing to get up close and personal with these guys?
So she would probably assume that they'd be staying at the Headless Hydra.
Mm-hmm.
So she'd probably hang around the Headless Hydra
Okay.
when she can get away from, doing what she's supposed to do.
Which is often.
Often.
Yeah, which is fairly often. All right, so you sort of your typical way of sort of finding out who's in town is to hang out in the stable. So the stable hand there knows you pretty well. He knows when you're around that you're looking for information, and he usually puts you to work. Mucking out stalls, shoveling, feeding the horses oats, making sure they've got plenty of fresh hay, brushing them down, all of the stuff, taking them out for exercise in the yard to make sure that they don't get too frisky just in the stalls. So you've gotten to know the four animals that came in with the adventurers pretty well. The one that the big warrior-looking guy rode in on seems a little bit more fiery tempered than the others. He's you're not sure that he's a full war horse, but he's definitely been trained in how to be take part in a battle. So he's he's definitely got that temperament. The one that the fellow with all the books rode in on, and the one with the lady that had the medallion, whatever, they seem a lot more docile. In fact, the one that the lady was wearing, or was riding, sorry, not wearing, but the one that the lady was riding actually looks more like she picked up a draft horse somewhere and has been riding that around, because it's definitely built for strength and endurance, but not necessarily for speed. And then the one that guy with the ferrets, or the girl, I'm sorry, with the ferrets has, is very sleek and looks like she's built for both speed and endurance, but not necessarily really good in a fight.
Okay.
So she's more of a traveler. So yeah, and every so often you do see that those adventurers will show up and take their horses out. They typically leave as a group and leave town. You'll see them go back down the main road off towards Lamont's Wells. Sometimes you'll see them head north along the road towards the logging camp, or where the logging camp was. And sometimes they even take the eastern road up the valley a little ways. They're never gone long. They never leave overnight, so they're always back before the evening comes back. And you get a sense that they are looking for something, but they're real closed-mouthed about whatever it might possibly be.
She would absolutely try to talk to them.
Stephen?
Yeah, get it out of my hands.
Keith is psychic.
Yeah.
Yep.
This
Yes,
is the side
I'm
effect
psycho.
of being a DM. He is omniscient.
That was right before the doorbell.
Right.
Okay, so what you doing with all that info?
She's just gonna go up and talk to them as they're leaving one day.
You can ask
Alright.
them if they're pirates.
Maybe.
All right.
Hello.
Hello there, child.
What's your name?
My name is Jerome.
Jerome.
Is that your real name or a fake name?
Jerome. Is that your adventuring name? Or
Is this the fighter dude?
Yeah, yes.
Hold on. Fighter dude. Okay.
Well, it's nice to meet you. My name is Cabbage.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
pardon
my
me.
real name is Cabbage.
All right. I'm sure there's a story to that.
proceeds to
Yeah.
tell the story.
I've got lots of brothers and sisters, and they're all named after vegetables and things. It's kind of a thing my parents have. But anyway, I like to meet new people.
Well,
You guys are new people.
yes, we are. This is a lovely little town you have here.
It's very little. Not a lot happens here. It's very boring. Are you pirates?
There it is.
Yep. Just
Oh,
cut through the
no.
fat.
Well, gang, are we pirates? And
Aaron, are we pirates?
So the
Remember
rest
that
of
one
them
time,
are,
remember?
the rest of them are just kind of standing there, hands over their mouths. No, no, child, and that's the ranger chick that's got the two ferrets in her hip pouch. No, we're
Just
not.
a hollow.
We're not pirates.
Oh, that's too bad. What's your name?
Fabricia.
Gesundheit.
She's really clean. 99% of germs.
Ba-da-ba-da-ba.
That's an interesting name.
Yes.
Do people ever just call you Risha?
Sometimes, although more often they just call me Fabby.
Can I call you Fabby?
If you'd like.
Alright. It's a lot easier to say. Okay. Jerome, Fabby, what's your name?
Which one?
The
Books.
medallion lady.
You can call me Nanny.
Oh wow. That's a
Okay.
voice.
Okay.
That's
Do they have a Hagen tone?
That's good and simple. And what about you?
Books.
What about you, Four Eyes?
She's polite.
Ish.
Drejan.
Gesundheit.
Drazhan.
Z-H-E-N?
Pompous individual.
Holy cow. Can I call you Dre?
Doctor.
Most people do.
After he
Yeah.
said it, he went, hum, 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 hum.
So what are you folks doing in town?
Oh, we're just looking around, seeing new places, trying to find adventures to get into.
I find that answer vague. And
I
You
mean,
now have a tag along.
see, I'm local. What kind of adventures are you looking for?
We can't tell you that, unfortunately. You and your friends might try to beat us to them, and we can't have that.
So it's them.
They've revealed things!
Well, can I help?
I tell you what, if we have questions about where to find certain information, we'll come to you first.
I will do that if you trade it for stories. You
At-
people look like
at
you've
that-
got stories.
The guy with the books sort of looks up, his eyes go wide.
Ah,
I love stories. I
Me
love
too.
telling stories. Do you like hearing
I
stories?
do.
I
Tell me
like
about
hear-
pirates.
I've got tons, and he turns to his back.
Oh,
It's
no.
a bard.
He pulls out a and turns it around, and there's a skull and crossbones on the cover. This book is full of stories about pirates. And my favorite one, and he sort of flips about halfway to the back, is this one.
So is the rest of the group at this point doing the like, oh,
Yeah,
here we
yeah,
go.
absolutely. They're all just
I have to
like,
say that word.
Draz, we've got things to do. Oh, sorry. Yes, I'll tell you some pirate stories later.
I'm gonna hold you to that.
Of course, of course.
You're gonna be at the tavern later. Later.
Gonna be at the tavern later.
Yes.
Alright. I'll see if I can get away from babysitting. Potato's been a real nuisance lately.
Right. We have things to do, right? and so with that, all four of them mount up.
Pleasure to meet all of you.
Good to meet you. And they trot out of the stable and out of the yard and head off into the forest. All right.
We have names.
They do pass by. Roll me an perception check. I'm sorry.
Braden, for the there are them comment. That's fantastic.
4.
Okay.
Oh.
Yep. So they just head off and head out of town towards the north again.
Follow them. Killian. Walk with them into the woods. Wait
No.
for them to show their swords.
Don't get
And then-
attacked by an
No.
awakened bush.
I only follow attractive elf women who are older than me into the woods. I have standards.
Don't say that. Elmo's
Low
gonna make an
standards.
experiment.
I feel like that's low standards.
Yep, there's an experiment that's going to be attached to that.
Mizuki,
Yes.
roll me a perception check.
Oh boy.
Okay.
We love our ferrets.
Yes.
12.
12? Okay. You do see, about this time, you're sort of walking, you're leaving the Headless Hydra
Okay.
just to go sort of wander around town, see what you can get into. And you do see the four strangers on their horses leaving town. And you follow as they head north out of town. The road that you recall led to the place where the fire was. And as you turn away from them, you notice that there are two other sets of eyes that are also watching the adventurers.
Alright.
Draxus, the blacksmith, who is not at his forge as is customary,
Okay. Huh.
and the sort of middle-aged man that was on the coach with you when you came into town, Silas.
Yeah.
You seem
The
to remember
teacher.
the teacher. Yes, and both of them are watching the adventurers, and don't seem to notice that anyone else has seen them or noticed that they're watching. Did you? Go ahead. Did you have something you wanted to do with that information?
Yeah. No, probably not. Not right now. I mean, I'm assuming I'd probably talk to them at some point later. Like,
Okay.
Once they get back
Once
to
they
the
get
end.
back, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Once they get back to the so.
Cabbage. You watch your new friends go, and you turn down towards the docks, and the Fortune's Folly is being rowed away from the dock. It hasn't been reloaded, but it's being rowed away from the dock, back out into the sort of wide spot in the river, and then it starts moving slowly upriver. And you know that means only one thing. It's being taken to the dry dock and the shipyards, probably for repairs.
Where they've set watch for Cabbage. Because
Too late to get aboard.
The guy sitting in a crossbow, sitting there waiting for you.
There's one guy, and he is exclusively there to look for you.
Wait, is there?
You don't know.
Oh, because I would know his name and talk to him.
No, there's actually not.
That you know of.
There probably should be, but there's not.
It's not in the budget.
Nope.
That's fair.
Budget cuts
Can't
this
have
year,
just
man.
one guy looking out for one individual.
One 16-year-old girl getting in trouble. She's just kind of gonna sigh and probably head back home to, do what she's supposed to do.
Okay.
If she doesn't do it every once in a while, she's gonna get kicked out of her house or something. So
Right. Alma, any other trouble you want to try and get into?
nope, just that.
No, okay. Killian?
How long does it take Draxus to get back?
He's actually gone most of the rest of the day.
Does he live at the forge?
Normally, yes. He's got a small hut that he almost never goes to, but he does have one.
Do I know where it is?
Yeah.
I'm gonna head there
Dun,
after
dun,
work.
dun, dun, dun,
Okay.
dun, dun, dun.
So you close down the forge. You check over the other apprentices' work, and it's you show each of them ways that they could improve. But the pieces that they're working on are good enough that you'll sell them. Draxus will sell them as apprentice work, but he will still be able to sell them. And then you close everything down. You make sure that the keys for the blacksmith, the keys for the lock, are not actually in the shop. So you assume that Draxus has them with him, and you lock everything up. You close down the stone mason side of things as well. Everything over there went pretty well during the day, so you didn't have to worry so much over there. Close all of that up, close the gate, and you head off to his little hut. which looks just as abandoned as it always has. It's there. If he wanted to, he could live there instead of at the blacksmith shop, at the forge. It's obvious he doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
If he had a family, his family would live here. He doesn't. So it's, yeah, he's not there, and he hasn't been for some time.
Is the door locked?
Yes, it is.
Is the back door locked?
Yes.
Are all of the windows locked?
No.
I am going to shimmy open one of the windows
Okay.
and go into the hut, and I'm going to search it for the box.
Okay. Roll me an investigation check.
Dude, you're gonna get fired.
It's fine. It's fine. That's
Can't
gonna
afford to
be
fire me.
25.
25. Okay. So, you go through this place fairly thoroughly. It's pretty obvious that there hasn't been anyone here for a while, or it looks like there hasn't been anyone here for a while. There's dust and cobwebs all around. You check everything anyway. You check the floors. You check the walls. There's nothing in the walls. You do come to a spot where there's the door that leads down to what you assume is his cold storage cellar, and that actually looks like there's been a little activity there recently.
Yeah, I'm gonna go search it.
Okay. So you fling that open, and you go down, and it is pitch black. You have dark vision, so the light spilling in through the trap door is enough that you can actually kind of see around.
Mm-hmm.
It's very, very sparse, sort of rough hewn. It does look like this house sits over the top of one of the old dwarven foundations. So the stonework here is actually pretty fine. The joints are all tight.
Mm-hmm.
There's no mortar inside. It's just really close fitting master work, but also very old work. You've picked up enough from Draxus to be able to figure that out.
Mm-hmm.
Looking around, there are several sort of friezes that are carved into the walls, and at first you're not really sure what you're looking at. Make me an investigation check.
16.
16. Okay. As you look at them, you realize that it seems to be sort of a linear
Mm-hmm.
story that starts at one end, goes down one side, wraps around, and finishes up back at the same end of the basement. Most of the symbolism is lost on you. It just seems like a lot of dwarves. One of them is holding what appears to be a hammer over his head,
Mm-hmm.
and he's dressed in a very fine rendition of chainmail.
Mm-hmm.
And there seems to be some sort of radiance emanating from the hammer.
Mm-hmm.
Around that particular figure, there are other dwarves who are standing at the guard with shields and all manner of weapons, swords, hammers, clubs. It runs the gamut. And you follow the frieze around, and about 3/4 of the way through the story, whatever the story is, there is a scene of utter destruction and chaos. You see what appears to be a dwarven city underground somewhere, and there is what you assume is supposed to be a closed-in ceiling has been ripped open, and it looks like water is flooding in, and buildings are cracked and crashed and crumbling, and there's smoke and fire everywhere. There are dwarves dying. The figure from before wearing the chainmail and holding the hammer seems to be one of those that is crushed under rubble. The hammer has fallen out of his hand, and you would guess that he's probably dead or dying in that freeze as well. The next frame shows a dwarven female with her, what looks to be small child in her arms, as the roof is caving in over her. And all around her are some of the same figures with shields and weapons trying their best, it looks like, to protect her, and seemingly failing. And at that point, the carving sort of peters out to nothing.
How old would I guesstimate this carving to be?
Who made this?
Made this and what was it?
It's hard to tell. You're not a dwarf.
Have
You
I
don't
seen Draxus do carvings before?
You have.
I'm just gonna give it a quick glance and see if there's any like telltale signs, like you know how some people when they had like their handwriting, you're like, oh, okay, this is definitely. I want to see if there's any of those sort of signatures.
Roll me an investigation check.
11.
11. You're not seeing any, but that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah,
I mean, your thing is more metal and fire, and stone is a completely foreign concept to you.
Okay. Still no box.
Not that you've seen.
Okay. I'm gonna go back up. I'm gonna close the door to the cold storage. I'm gonna go back out the window and close it behind me.
Okay. All right.
And unless I run into him before then, I'm gonna go look for Draxus.
Okay. Where are you looking?
Where?
Forge.
So if he's not at the forge,
House.
And he's not.
does he like to drink?
I mean, it's a dwarf.
I mean, he is a dwarf. I mean, he's not as bad as the stories would say.
Mm-hmm.
But
Sorry,
But
that was
he's a
profiling.
dwarf.
Is there a particular? Do I know of any particular place where the dwarves tend to congregate for their evening drink? I don't know if there's like a dwarf bar essentially, or if everyone just winds up in the same place.
There is one. You've heard him mention it twice. Mostly in passing, and mostly when he didn't think you were, paying attention. But yeah, there is a little place. It's a rough place.
Do I know where it is?
Yeah, I mean it's a small enough town. You know where it is.
Okay, I'm gonna head there.
Okay. We will come back to that.
Okay.
Uh-oh, what?
You doing anything?
No, I'm just doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Leave me alone.
Unlike the
Doing
rest
my
of these
chores,
people,
I'm working.
doing what I should be
I'm
doing.
getting to myself. I don't get in other people's business.
Okay.
It's for other people to do.
It's for other
I
people
want
to
to
do.
give you an opportunity in case
Oh
you
no,
want
it's
to...
fine. No.
No? Okay.
Adrian is quite content.
Adrian is quite content watching these others ruin their lives.
So,
Right.
so what,
You're not gonna
what
ruin
do
your life.
your chores consist of specifically?
Well, at the moment, we're working on getting ready for the Harvest Festival.
That's what we're just gonna chat.
Okay.
So, readying the
Adventurous.
stall / booth for the
Okay.
thing, all that kind of stuff.
So you would have noticed the 4 strangers in town
Mhm.
leaving, heading north. You did see Cabbage come out of the stable, so you kind of get a sense that maybe she talked to them a little bit, and then you see her head down towards the docks, and she sees that the Fortune's Folly is moving and has been moved, and then she starts to head home. You do also actually make me your perception check.
11.
Oh god. Is it really that bad?
I haven't.
Oh,
I
it
haven't
is.
said
It is
anything.
that bad.
Oh, it is.
It is that bad.
All right, so you
Negative
would
2.
also have noticed Draxus and Silas watching the adventurers as they went.
Okay.
Whether you want to do anything with that information or not.
Nope.
Nope. Okay. The other thing you would have noticed is a particularly bright. It's towards evening, but it's not quite there yet. But you do notice a particularly bright shooting star across the sky. It stands out if for no other reason than you can actually see it, and it's not full night yet. So it's bright, and it's crosses the sky, and is gone.
I'll make a silent wish and continue on with my work.
Okay. Any particular wish that you care to share?
Well, if I said it out loud, then it won't come true.
Yes, but if your DM doesn't know.
And it also doesn't
They
come
really
true.
won't.
I'll
Doesn't
message
come
you
true.
later.
Okay. All right. Okay then. So Killian, you arrive at the Hammer and Tongs, and you push through the doors,
So,
or
can I just, like, is there a window? Can I just sort of, like,
Look
see if I can see? No?
there's not.
Are there any other dwarves going in?
There's a slow trickle, yeah.
So I'm gonna grab one who seems not like they've had a bad day,
Okay.
and in Dwarven, I will ask him, could you do me a favor?
Right.
All right, so Draxus left me in charge of the shop, and I need to talk to him to let him know where I put everything, and that, it's all closed up, but I can't lock it because he has the keys. Do you mind telling him I'm out here? I don't really want to go try and find him in that mess.
I'll go see if he's there.
Thanks.
And she pushes past you into the bar. And it's several long minutes.
So I'm just standing awkwardly by the door, and as like other dwarves come in, I'm doing the like, hi. How's it going?
Designated driver.
Most of them,
Uber.
most of them know you because they deal with Draxus on a regular. So they've been in and out of the shop. You don't. You recognize faces.
But I don't know them.
But you don't know them. After several long minutes, the first dwarf comes back out. I don't see him in there.
Do you know where?
You sure he was coming here?
I mean, not for sure. He's not he's not at the forge, so I kind of figured if he's not there,
Huh.
he was probably here. You wouldn't happen to maybe know where he might be?
I don't. Seemed fine a couple days ago. Is there anything strange happened to upset him, or anything?
I wonder. Alma?
There was just some strange man who came in and tried to... He lit his clothes on fire and left. Draxus said he was going to go talk to the militia about it.
That's just the best description ever.
This is kind of way I want to talk to him and let him know that, like, it's all locked up because it's been a weird day.
Yeah, I can see that. Well, I haven't seen. Oh, well, there he comes now.
Ah, wonderful. Thank you very much.
Well, lad, how goes it?
All right, it's good. So, we just step
Right.
over. I'll fill you in on exactly what
Right.
happened after you left.
Right.
So, I will, like, pull him to the side away from everybody else,
Mhm.
and I'll be like, okay, so, everything's all put away. It's all fine. We really need to teach James that he cannot just put it in the fire and leave it there. Like, okay, anyway, that's not important. It's not important. So I have kind of an awkward question to ask you.
Okay. About this time, the shooting star goes over your heads.
I'm gonna kind of look around and like just pull him a little bit further away from everybody and quietly be like, okay, so confession time. I may have looked in that box you got.
Oh, lad, tell me you didn't.
It's too late.
I did
Just
because
close
I
away.
wanted to make sure that it it wasn't anything that.
Begins
I wanna make
loading
sure it was
shotgun
okay where I put it,
maliciously.
And
What
You-
did you see, lad?
well, I mean, do I really need to explain what I saw? I saw the and the with the.
And you have questions, I suppose.
Well, I didn't really, because I figured it was something. Yeah, I figured we'd have a peace. Or I didn't really care. But now you're acting all weird because some man tried to burn down our shop.
Aye, and that would be strange enough, don't you think?
Right, but you like left me in charge, and you never leave me in charge, ever.
You have a point.
You live at the forge,
Yeah.
and you left me in charge.
When did he become Swedish?
Swedish? Yeah, don't you know?
Swedish.
Sorry.
So, okay, also confession time. I went and searched your quarters to make sure that the box was still there, because I thought maybe someone was coming for it.
Well, it's not.
No, yeah, I figured that out. So, I also went and searched your house to make sure it wasn't, if it was there, that it was still there. And I may have seen the weird things in the basement.
Man.
So now I might have more. I may now have more questions. Anyway, so you seemed really, really concerned, and it was a weird day, and my curiosity got the better of me.
If your grandfather was anyone else, lad, you'd be out on your arse. You know that, yeah?
See, even if he wasn't my grandfather, though, you could, but then you'd have to teach James instead of me.
You've got a point.
Right, see, so I'm your gopher. It's good to have me around.
You've got a point. Aye.
Look, okay, honestly, I was just trying to help out however I could, and it seemed like a good idea at the time.
So he's gonna look around and he's gonna take you by the shoulder
Uh-huh.
and he's gonna
Yup.
he's sort of gonna goose step you
Yup.
off towards his house.
Not
Not, not even going to the
Uh-huh.
forge, he's going to his house. I tell you what, in my day, if an apprentice got as uppity as you,
Hey, at least I came and told you instead of waiting to see if you figured it out yourself.
and he
Do I see this?
roll a perception check.
It won't happen, but you know, if for funsies, 11.
Actually, yeah, you see
Oh,
it. So you see Draxus and Killian, and Draxus has Killian under the shoulder, under the armpit, and he is marching him across the town center, off. Not exactly towards the towards the forge, but it's sort of in a direction that you know Draxus comes from a lot. So whatever you want to do with that.
poor fellow. Yep, poor fellow. I'll continue with my work.
Alas, poor York. I knew him well.
So he gets you back to his house, and he unlocks the door, flings it
So
open.
as he flings it open, I'm like, you also should probably lock your windows. They're not locked, in case you're wondering.
And he sort of pushes you and closes the door behind him.
Pulls out a knife and murders
Locks it behind him. Goes around the room, locking the windows. Takes the time to stop by the fireplace and start up a fire. And then he goes to his...
I thought he was going to lock up the fireplace. I was like, I wouldn't have thought of that.
goes to his table and sits down. Right. Best you start from the beginning, lad.
Which beginning?
Whichever seems most
I've
appropriate.
been here a long time, and there's a lot that we maybe need to cover if we're starting from the beginning. Now, if we're starting from the beginning of when I looked in your magic box...
The box isn't magic.
Interesting. Anyway, I've told you everything. I looked in the box, saw what it was, left it there because I was like, oh, okay, it's nothing. It's nothing I have to lock up. It's nothing that I need to be careful managing. It's perfectly fine. And then today I came and searched your house to see if the box was here, and it's not. Or if it is, it's really well hidden, and it's not in the forge.
No.
So it's probably safe from other people looking for it, because that's what you seem worried about.
I'd rather people not know I had it. There's baggage associated with the box.
Interesting. Did that get delivered with the box?
I want to reserve that inspiration, but I really loved it.
I don't know where that went.
If I had more than two, that would have earned one.
Not what I meant.
Oh, not that kind of baggage. Okay. And I understand. We're on the same page now.
You smell what I'm hammering there, late.
As far as we're concerned,
Yes.
you're the only player actually doing any of the story. Where the rest of us are still in NPC mode.
It's not my fault. Keith dumped this in my lap.
So,
I delivered it.
True.
What
And then you turned into an
exactly
NPC again.
do you want to know? And be sure that you want to know the answers to the questions you ask.
Blue pill, red pill.
Well, I had other questions, but now that you've said that, I guess the first question is, are you planning on killing me?
Strongly consider.
It occurs to me now that all the doors and windows are locked, and no one
Yeah,
knows we're
that
here
long.
because you're never here, and you seem a little and I'm beginning to rethink my life choices.
And all you have is the control
That's
flame
good.
cantrip.
That's very good.
So yes, I am confident. I would like to know the answer to the question if you're going to try and kill me.
We'll see on that score.
Okay. Right then.
See, this is why I
I'm
leave
going to
everyone
take this
alone.
opportunity to remind you that my grandfather would be very angry if I didn't make it to there tomorrow night. So
Name drop, name
just to remind you that I am expected there, and
Alive.
that you're my favorite dwarf, and I'm so happy that I work for you and I love my job very much.
Your odds of survival are looking better, lad.
So, there was a hammer and there was an anvil, but they're not around anymore.
Aye.
Are you related to them?
No.
Do you know anyone who is?
No.
Okay. Also, are the carvings downstairs yours?
No. I guess you could say that I inherited them and the contents of the box.
Who'd you inherit it from?
Let's circle back around to that.
Okay, you know what? Here, this might be better.
Very
So I
angelic
have
music
lots of
for
questions
your
about
execution.
everything, so maybe you should start from the beginning. Maybe that will work better than me just asking questions.
Not sure it would, because I'm not sure where to begin.
It's a really hard thing to decide. Like, where is the beginning, really?
When a mommy and a daddy love each other very much.
Like, is the beginning that the dwarf city's under a lake now? Is that the beginning?
That would be a good place to begin if I knew for sure
Dwarf
that it was
Atlantis.
under a lake.
Because it really looks like it's under a lake.
Does it though? Because to me it just looks like it's flooded, and my people are not known for building cities under lakes.
Well, right, but if you had this big hole in the ground, and then the roof wasn't there anymore, and water started pouring in, I cannot imagine anything would happen in other than it just now being a lake, and now the city's at the bottom of the lake.
Makes a certain sort of sense, I suppose. Perhaps, but yeah, I suppose it does.
Right, so like it looks, I'm thinking a lake, and that would be why no one wouldn't know anything about it, and it'd be all mysterious because no one can find it because it's now at the bottom of a lake, and no one really spends their time searching the bottom of lakes for old cities.
You got a point there, lad. Hadn't thought about it that way. We're getting sidetracked, but there is. There's no secret that my people used to be sort of a power in these parts before the Empress and her empire, whatever, rose to power.
Yep, right.
Cubing, whatever.
And that there was a calamity, and the city was destroyed. And
Right. Yep.
our
Sure.
entire empire fell pretty much over.
Yep. Definitely commonly known knowledge. Absolutely not new information to me.
Actually, this is all brand new.
Oh yeah, I never, no idea.
Nobody knows anything.
Sarcasm.
When Adrian has to point out sarcasm to you.
Sad moment.
Sometimes I roll high.
The story I was told is that when the city fell, it wasn't the only thing that fell that day. The royal family was completely wiped out.
Right. So that's the woman with the kid and the dying and the.
Aye.
Gotcha. Okay. Yep.
The royal guards, or not all of them, but a portion of them at least, were able to survive, and they carried the missus and her wee barn out of the city. They weren't able to bring His Majesty. They couldn't move the rubble that covered him. But
Right. That's the guy with the hammer and the.
Aye.
Yep. Okay. Yep.
So the story goes that the Queen and her babe were laid in a cairn somewhere. That the royal scepter, the royal hammer, the symbol of all power in amongst the dwarves
Uh-huh.
was laid there with them,
Mm-hmm.
and the secret of its location
Mm-hmm.
was entrusted to the descendants of the remaining royal guard.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Knowledge of its location has, shall we say, been lost to time,
Right. I'm absolutely shocked by this.
and you're looking at the last descendant
Again, absolutely
of
shocked by
one
this.
of the royal guards.
Crazy. So this is how you inherited the box.
Aye.
Wait, so... Because some lady sent you the box.
Aye.
So why didn't she inherit the box?
Because she wasn't a descendant.
But then how did she wind up with the box?
She was married to one.
Ah! Okay. So she was married to somebody else who was related to these royal guards,
And when he passed on,
but you are not directly related to him, right? It's not like your brother.
right.
Okay, so wow, that's a confusing mess of lineage there. Then that's you must have really good records somewhere to keep track of all. No. Then how do you know that you're?
The stories Mida told me.
And the box knows.
And the box. The fact that I have the box is a pretty good indicator that someone thinks that
Right, but
that's-
there's so like you could just have wound up with the box because like your dad heard a story somewhere and
I don't think so.
okay, so there's a thing and the thing in the books. What do they do?
That's the part I don't know.
Do you know?
I have
Do you know what
no
the riddle
clue.
means?
No.
Because it's a really terrible riddle.
I would say so, but no, I have no idea what the riddle means.
Okay. All right. So when someone tried to burn down the shop today, you thought they were,
Looking for the box.
and you got really worried,
Aye.
but the box isn't there.
Aye. But he didn't know that.
So why were you really worried?
I'm worried because there's someone out there looking for me box.
It's a fantastic line. All right. So you're worried that someone's looking for a box. Wait, so if you're the last one, what happens if you die? Then where's the box go?
You better get busy.
Wherever I left
Oh, crap, I don't remember
And
the exact verbiage.
the secrets it protects die with me. Actually, I suppose you might say they're already dead because I don't know them, but any chance of discovering them dies with me.
Wait, so is your goal to like figure out this puzzle, or are you just content to like let the puzzle?
I
do nothing?
literally got the box yesterday.
That is a fair point.
Haven't had time to do much thinking and planning.
That is fair.
Take a chill, Killian.
Yeah.
Interesting. Right, yeah, no, I actually think that's all my questions. Because I'm pretty sure you won't tell me where the box is.
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
Let's get one thing straight before we call it an evening, let's say. I'm the master, you're the
Right,
apprentice.
yep, you say
Don't
jump, I jump.
Don't get above yourself.
I would never. My only
Except that you did.
my only ambition in life is to make your life easier.
Roll an insight check on that one. It's a natural one. He believes you. It's okay. Alright, just so we're clear.
Yep.
Alright. Get out of here.
Okay, yep, leaving now. As Killian is closing the door, outright, thanks for deciding not to kill me. My grandfather will appreciate it, I'm sure. I won't tell him anything, but you know it is appreciated. Bye now.
Be at the forge an hour early tomorrow.
Yep.
You're with James all day.
He's alive.
And I will head home.
I admire your
Gusto.
That was some
Thank
very
you for
high
your
level
candor.
bullshit. Yes.
Thank you for your candor.
All right. So, the following day, or I suppose that evening, you're waiting around the Headless Hydra for the adventurers, and you're waiting, and you're waiting,
Oh no.
Uh-oh.
They stood you up.
and you're waiting.
Well, no, they.
They're dead. They're totally
Yeah,
dead.
they're totally dead.
They're very
and
dead.
they don't come back for the longest time.
Oh no. Oh no.
And then you see one of the horses coming back.
A single solitary ferret.
Oh no.
Sitting on the saddle holding the reins.
Do that.
He's got one of his arms in a sling.
Holding the reins.
You guys are laughing. There is a ferret in the saddle.
Just one?
Just one. But he's just sort of sitting there, and it looks like he's got something in his paws and is eating on it. And the horse trots back to the stable. And
Gonna go check.
A plane crashed.
I should hope not.
no,
It's a small plane.
no, it's there's a bit of tin down there that's rattling. It's in the wind. It's fine.
I will fix it. It's okay.
Okay. So
I'm gonna run over and grab the reins of the horse, which
Okay.
I'm assuming the horse would be fairly familiar with me at this point.
yeah,
Dramatic
fairly
effect,
familiar.
Small
It-
raindrops begin
So
falling.
it sort of nuzzles up against you, whinnies a little bit, and the ferret, seeing you, actually runs up the sort of the horse's mane and down onto your shoulder as well.
What's
is
in its-
Mizuki at the end at this point?
Yeah.
Okay. Can I roll a perception? to
Absolutely.
see- Okay.
I have no idea who would see this.
16.
16.
Man, that got dark fast.
Then yeah,
Okay.
you catch that as well.
Okay. So I'll walk toward Cabbage and the horse and the ferret.
I'm gonna see what the ferret, if I can see what the ferret has in its paws.
It just looks like a piece of jerky.
Okay. Just wanted to check.
It was a long
It's learned
trip.
how to dehydrate flesh.
We're doomed.
I mean, does the horse have any signs of nothing?
Nope.
Are there saddlebags?
Yeah.
Taking them.
Wow.
All right. So,
I'm assuming Mizuki
Opportunistic.
would see this.
Yes.
I'm gonna.
Grave
Or
robber.
But
start-
I'm
is
going
not
to do it in such a way where it looks like I'm taking the saddlebags off of the horse. I'm leading into the stables. I very much belong here. I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
okay.
Oh.
So yeah, you catch sight of all of that as well.
Okay. I did start making my way toward
Okay.
them. So
So you follow Cabbage and
Yeah.
the horse
And
and
the
the ferret
ferret, yes.
into the stable, and Cabbage is putting the horse away. She's got the saddlebags and all the tack and everything off to the side, like she's gonna put them away when she's done. And I will leave it to you guys.
Just brushing the horse, doing the normal, putting horses away things that I totally know how to do.
What? Is it just the horse?
Hello, Mizuki.
Hello, Cabbage.
What?
How was your day?
It's been long.
Yeah, okay. I see. So I saw the horse come in, but there wasn't.
Yeah,
Like they were here earlier.
yeah. They told me that. Well, I told them I would take good care of the horses because I kind of work around the stable here. But only one of the horses showed up. Don't really know what's going on, but I said I'd take care of the horses, so I'm gonna take care of the horse.
Yeah, that seems like a
Checks
reasonable thing. Checks out.
I'm a little surprised to see you, in a stable.
I don't think. I mean, I've been in stables before.
It just seems a little dirty.
Yes. She's like has her like kimono like just so it like doesn't touch the ground. Yeah, no, that's I just saw you, so I don't know very many people here yet, so
That's fair. Yeah, I'm just
I
putting
just
away
wanted
the horse.
to know what was going on.
I really don't know. I'm gonna put away the horse and do what I'm supposed to do here. But if you see the people come back, will you let me know?
Yeah, I'll let you know. I'll go keep an eye out for her then.
Yeah.
Just like that, you're an accomplice.
Mazel tov, you're a horse thief.
I'm not
Stealing the horse, I'm just
Yeah.
Okay, I have enough money for this. It's
Not
fine.
a horse thief. I'm a thief.
Well, and I'm just gonna hold on to it until they come back.
Uh-huh.
After you like
Yeah.
go through
Oh,
it.
I'm absolutely gonna go through it. But
You're,
we
you
already
have
know you
high
want to be a
expectations
pirate.
that they'll
We know-
return.
Yes. Your
Yeah.
talent for acquisitions has to start somewhere.
Yeah. Well, I'll finish up in here, but keep an eye out for me. Maybe ask the innkeeper.
he or she.
He.
He gets bothered when I come around sometimes and I'm running off
Oh.
customers. So
Does
I just like to hear people's stories.
Shocking.
really? Why would someone get bothered by you?
I've been told I'm abrasive.
That's putting it lightly.
I've been told I'm abrasive.
I don't see it.
Thanks, Miss Lady.
What did you just call her?
Miss Lady.
Oh, Miss Lady.
That's like-
Mislead.
Well, I'll check back in with you tomorrow to see if the nice people came back.
Oh yeah, that's. I mean, certainly, yeah.
Yeah, because it's getting late, and as soon as I finish up with this horse, I should probably go home because I got to help with things and stuff.
Do you want me to take the ferret?
I mean, I really don't know what to do with it, and my baby sister
I
might
mean,
eat it.
I think I know where their room is.
Give it to the monk.
Yeah, I mean,
So-
if you, I really don't know what to do with this thing. So yeah, sure, that would be great.
Not that monk. Give it to this
Okay,
monk.
so
It seems nice enough. It was eating some beef jerky
You will never see that
some
ferret.
beef jerky.
or some kind of jerky. Might not have been beef.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Might have been beef.
Which is
Goblin jerky.
Yeah.
Goblin jerky.
So yeah, that would actually be great if you could take care of that for me, because I
Have
don't
another-
I don't even know what kind of animal that is.
I believe it's a ferret.
A what?
A ferret?
Ferret.
Yeah. I have several friends who own some.
That's cool.
I've seen them before.
Well, that's
They
good.
make good pets.
It certainly
is showing.
seems friendly. Yeah. So if I will see you tomorrow.
Alright.
And I just go back to brushing the horse.
Mizuki makes her way out of the stable.
Okay. So what are you gonna do with the ferret?
Eat it. Adopt it.
No! I'm gonna eat the ferret.
Thank you,
Mizuki wouldn't
Mizuki.
even think about that.
It's a delicacy in some places.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What places?
Not the place Mizuki's
I feel
from.
like there would just be way too much work.
That's why it's a delicacy.
So let's see, she'll.
You've heard of a ferret in a glass. Have
probably
you tried pheasant in a glass? But have you tried ferret
Fold
in
it
a
in
tube?
with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So
Just
as you're crossing the
just slowly
stable
push
yard
the meat out.
towards the inn, there is a bright flash overhead, and meteor goes, shooting star goes streaking across the sky.
Great. Okay. I feel like she'll probably make a wish on it. So
Okay.
Little do we know that this is like the star that will bring the apocalypse, and we're
Yeah,
all
probably.
wishing
Dun-dun,
like,
probably.
the more
dun-dun.
wishes that you make, the more dooming it will be.
Yeah, she'll stop for a minute and like get a good look at it.
Okay.
So
We are the dinosaurs.
So once you get back into the inn, you go up the stairs, and as you pass by this one specific door, the ferret actually hops down and goes over to it and starts screeching on the door.
Oh.
Mizuki will try the door
Okay.
to see if it will open.
It is actually locked.
Okay. She will go. She'll go down and find the innkeeper.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's a rather large man, partly balding. He's got a really bad comb over the top of his head. That's where he's trying to make it not as obvious that he's losing his hair. Immaculate white apron over his prodigious bulk, and he greets you, Miss Mizuki. How's your stay?
It's been quite lovely. I do have a stray ferret.
Oh, well, yes, that does look like that belongs to Lady Fabricia.
Yes. I just wish. It went up to the door, and I assume it just wants in, like back into its room. I know they're not here yet, but I figured I could just let it, be in the room.
So, Lady Fabricia and her friends are not around.
It seems like a horse came back, and the ferret came back, and
So
no one else has returned as of yet.
one of the horses and the ferret came back,
Yes.
but no one else has. Oh dear.
That is the course of things at the moment.
That is the dilemma we face.
Yes,
Okay.
it does seem problematic.
Yes. I tell you what. I'll put him back in the cage that she keeps for these guys in her room, and yeah, then I need to go. Yes, I'll take care of him for you. Thank you for bringing him down.
I don't trust this.
I
I need this ferret. I don't trust this.
And
I mean, it seems comfortable enough with me, so I could do it.
well, as you wish. Yes. In that case, if you'll excuse me, I.
But the door is locked. So
Yes, and until Lady Fabricia comes back, it's going to remain. I hope you understand. Obviously, I can't just open a room to someone who's not registered to it.
yes, I do understand that, of course.
Okay. If you'll excuse me, I do need.
Isn't the ferret registered to the room?
Not really, no. If you'll excuse me, I have to go check in with the town council. Pardon me. And he takes his apron off, hangs it to the side, and walks out. Oh, Mother, do keep a watch on the as he's leaving. You do hear a voice from what you recognize as the inn's main office. You hear a female voice say, "I've got it," and then he disappears out the door. Okay. Cabbage. What you up to?
Well, I'm gonna finish putting away the horse, get everything all situated,
Okay.
make sure that it's comfortable,
Right.
take off its tack and all that
Okay.
stuff. And then I'm going to take the saddlebags
Okay.
and Is there like an empty stall?
Actually, yes, there are several empty stalls.
Okay, I'm going to go to the most secluded one.
Okay, all the way in the back.
And I'm going to settle down so that I can't be seen easily, and I'm going to look and see what's in the bags.
Okay. Inside the saddlebags, you do find what you would expect to find. It's so behind the saddle there was tied like a bedroll, something to lay down on the ground to help to soften it. Inside the saddlebags you find a spare set of clothes. Looks like the Fabricia has kept them there to keep them sort of out of dust and dirt and rain and all of that. Another pair of boots that have soft soles on the bottom, so probably good for tracking, things like that. There is a cloak that there is a cloak that sort of shimmers a little bit in the rising moonlight. And in the other side, you find a couple of spare arrows. So it's like it's kind of weird that they're here and not in like a quiver, but they're there. And as you pull them out, make me a perception check.
They glow.
Unnatural 20.
Okay. The heads are made out of bone. Also, in the bottom of that side, there is a little a little leather worked scroll case that is capped at both ends.
I'm gonna open it.
Okay. As you open it up and unroll it, it looks like it's a fragment of a parchment that's been ripped out of something or off of something. And it mentions a name, Sionas, Sionas.
Sionas.
Okay. Mentions something about the Valley of the Four Kings, which you know is where you are. Then the sentence wraps around, it goes off through the tear. Dwarven treasure, and goes off the side. Augurs deep.
Okay. I'm going to put that back in its little casing and put that in my pocket.
Okay, so you're going to take the scroll case with you?
Yes.
Okay, cool. And what are you doing with the rest of the saddlebag?
Was that just one side or was that everything?
That was everything.
Okay. I'm gonna take the cloak.
Okay.
Is the inside shimmery or is it just the outside?
Just the
shimmery?
outside.
Okay. I'm going to wrap it up so that the outside is inside,
Okay.
so that it doesn't look shimmery. Just tie it to my belt like it's a normal pouch. You know, I'm good at making things look like they're not what they are.
Okay.
And I'm going to take the saddlebags. I'm going to put them with the rest of the horses' stuff.
Okay.
And I'm gonna hang outside for a little bit longer, see if any other horses show up.
Okay. We will come back to that.
Alright.
So it's on towards evening. The town is actually gearing up for and starting up with the autumn celebration, the autumn festival. So I know where. So we know where Cabbage is. So she's at the stable of the Headless Hydra. We know where Mizuki is. She is in the Headless Hydra with the ferret.
Yes.
Killian, where are you at this point? Because the festival is starting.
Is there any aspect of this festival that's like a traditional elf thing?
Not specifically.
Okay, good.
I
Then
mean,
I don't actually have to be anywhere. Probably just going around town enjoying it.
okay. Alma.
Uh-oh.
Oh no.
Oh yes.
Oh no.
You, why?
Oh, what are you gonna do? That was a look directly at me.
I knew I should have come to you last.
Alma actually. So I picked my word for the day. Alma is going to go seek out Simi and
Should
drag
be
her to
word,
the
right?
festival.
Okay, so Alma.
Nuisance was the word?
Alma shows up at your at the cloister and says that he is taking you to the festival.
There are a lot of people at festivals.
You don't have to talk to them. Just hang out with me. We'll go find Killian, and I know that they bring in apples and they cook the outside a little bit, and then they put sugar on it. That's really good.
Okay, that kind of does sound good.
It'll be fun. Don't worry.
All right.
Okay, fine.
And you can play with the fox.
Wait, what?
The birthday's already happened.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I forgot. That's true. That is really cute.
Mhm.
Fine. Alma, by chance, where were you this afternoon?
This afternoon.
Would it have been this afternoon? That would have
Yep.
still been today, right?
Well, I talked to Mizuki at home. She apparently is making a deal with my parents. And I helped Mom to make dinner. Why?
I saw something that bothered me earlier today.
I'll remind you what your word is for the day.
What is? Wait, what?
He always picks a word of the
Nothing.
day.
Is there something specific you want to know?
Never mind. I'm not sure that I want to go into it. Just I thought I saw something strange.
Okay, well. Anyway, yeah, let's go find Killian, and we can go get apples. It's my treat.
Deal.
And you
Yeah.
are at the festival already.
I'll get mine from you.
In your at your stall.
Yep. Stop. Don't roll. Leave me be.
Odds or evens.
Of course, odds.
Okay. Okay. You are you do have a helper in the stall.
Yep.
Tangui is there with you.
Okay.
Ooh. Shush.
So yeah.
Wow, wow.
Woohoo!
So you all are sort of converging on the town center for the festival. There are candles and torches and lanterns burning all over. There are banners strung up and flapping in a little bit of a breeze, not a huge one, but a little bit of one has come up as the night comes on. Lots of drinking, sounds of merriment. It's a fun, festive time in Sutterton, and all of you kind of gather together at the winery's booth. Alma, you've kind of had to drag Simi there unwillingly, but she's there. And so, and Mizuki.
Yeah, she'll I'm sure she'll make her way to the festival with
Okay.
Ferret
With
info.
the ferret sitting sort of atop your shoulders.
See, you can make things a little better. Look, I will buy you an apple, and you can give it Adrian, and things will be good.
Wait, I can give it to Adrian?
I know things have been weird,
I feel like that's a massive understatement.
so you can make it less weird with sweets. I know Adrian loves these.
Evens or odds?
Evens.
Okay, I do love them.
I mean, I don't think that that's going to undo any of the awkwardness that's already happened. You get that I don't dislike him, right?
Right, but if he's eating, then he's not talking.
Okay, that's a very fair point.
At least that's what my mom tells me.
Stop talking.
That's why you're slowly turning into a very chubby boy. If we keep feeding him, he won't talk to people.
And these are really sticky. So
I mean, I guess if I'm gonna be in his company, this would not be a bad option. Okay, fine.
I mean, you're gonna have to get over it at some point, and candied apple is not a bad way to go.
His mother isn't over there, is she?
I have no idea. I could punch her in the kneecaps.
Wait, what?
I can put you like a football across the square.
Do you want me to?
No, Alma, we don't hit just because.
No hitting. Soft.
Stop it. Get some help.
Like, she might not be my favorite person in the world by a long stretch of the
Where's
imagination.
the butt?
But we don't punch people that aren't attacking us. There's not another butt there.
But you remember that one time.
We don't speak of that.
You.
Okay, never mind.
Psychotic.
Never mind.
Aside from which, you started that.
Okay. Let's go. Hi, Adrian.
Hi, Alma. Oh, hi, Simi.
I brought you something.
Oh, good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
What can I get for you? We have,
Wine. Lots of wine. I like
well,
wine.
there are specific flavors.
The kind you want me to have?
Do you have it in a bucket?
Yes, please.
This is an odd request, but I guess I can put it in a bucket. Mom didn't say I couldn't, so.
Didn't say I couldn't. Bucket head.
We have.
That was a joke. You don't have to put it in a bucket.
Oh,
Are you sure?
okay.
I mean,
You were joking. I'm not sure if I was or not. It's okay. We don't have to have a bucket. Alma said
He's
so.
an alcoholic.
With me as her half sibling, she will be. We have warm mantelpiece, creaky rocking chair, and the picnic
thought that was going.
selection.
warm mantelpiece. Do it.
You're 12. How?
Remember your word.
I didn't catch it.
Apparently,
I am just reminding
apparently I
you.
want
Just
warm
making sure you
mantelpiece.
remember.
Oh,
Yeah,
I will
that was as
hand
honest
you
as
a
could
glass of warm mantelpiece.
Is it good?
It's what we had. It's what we had the first time we met.
Oh.
So-
Oh, memories. Memory.
That
Ah.
cut like
Yeah.
a knife.
Gillian?
I imagine this is a great opportunity for me to show up.
Yep.
Adrian?
Killian, what do you want?
Mm.
Wait,
It's easy for me because there's labels.
What's the
You're
legal
a man of
drinking age
great
here?
words.
Have you ever tried mixing them?
No.
I don't think that's right.
Okay. Rocking chair. It's always a good standby. Ah, thank you.
So what was your boss getting mad at you for yesterday? Or this afternoon?
Oh. That's not how you're supposed to drink that.
Well, so see, Draxus left me in charge, and I may have not been paying attention to what you all know James Cobbler,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
He's like 3 years younger than us. Anyway, I may not have been paying attention to what he was doing, and
Draxus left you in charge.
yeah, Draxus left me in charge because so some man came in, took off his gloves, lit them on fire, and I think he was trying to set the rest of the forge on fire. Which is a strange thing to do to a forge because it's kind of already on fire.
Right.
So Draxus left me in charge because he wanted to go talk to the militia about dealing with whatever that was. Anyway, and I didn't realize James was not paying attention to what he was doing, and he just wrecked a whole piece.
That sucks. And he
Yeah.
got mad at you for it because you were in charge?
Right, because I was in charge and I should have been watching him, and really I should have because he's terrible at it. Because he's terrible at his job.
I'm still wrapping my head around the idea that someone tried to burn down the forge. A local?
No, he's some. Wait, was he wearing the robes?
Mm-hmm.
No, he was some. I've never seen him before. Actually, he was wearing the things you wear, the robes. Yeah, he was wearing the robes, and he came in and took off his gloves and pulled out flint and steel and lit them on fire.
I make a good bartender.
On the. I don't know.
Well, you can just have the bottle. Don't take my hand.
So do you know him? Because I'd like to have a word with him. Because I have never seen a man come to my forge prepared to burn it down.
She
It
just
would-
gets really pale.
It would be terrible if we had an arsonist in the village.
On the wanted
Yes, it would.
posters, did it say what he was wanted for?
No.
Because he hadn't done
He
anything
hadn't
yet.
Locally, he had not done anything.
How high wisdom save do I need to make to
Just
make this
roll it, and
connection?
I'll tell you.
Oh, that's high. If it's just a straight up wisdom, that's gonna be 18.
Yeah, you're able to keep your wits about you.
Well, yeah, but am I putting this together?
Actually, now that you mention it, I do think I have seen him, but
I have seen
So,
him.
yeah, the constable
had me
exactly.
put up
He was
a
handing out posters
poster
for this
on
guy.
the tavern. I rolled a natural 20 to remember that.
It's I don't know.
So Constable
Weird
Rick
stuff.
knew.
I mean I guess he's wanted.
You see, this is
I don't
what
know. I don't know
happens
what he
when
does.
Constable Rick leaves. Bad things happen.
I mean, is he
Constable Rick
here?
should definitely
Is he
be
here that
all the
often?
time.
No, he just comes and
I
goes.
don't think I've ever met the man until he found me. Oh, right. By the way, the constable knows about your little secret place.
Who told him?
I don't know. I was sleeping there and he came.
Well, Constable Rick is originally from the village, so I assume in his past generations he probably played there as a kid, like every
Oh,
other
right. That would make
generation
sense.
does.
That
so.
makes sense. I don't know. Maybe he was wanting to put up wanted posters there or something. I was trying to sleep.
Puts up wanted posters in my hideout.
Who comes into your hideout and wakes me up while
Well,
I'm
to be
sleeping in the
fair,
hammock?
whoever was the arsonist could have been hiding in there. It's a well-known
You wanna-
hiding place.
I should probably go and check out my hiding place and make sure no
Well,
one is
You
there.
probably shouldn't
I
do it
think-
with a mad arsonist around.
I'm going to go to keep him safe.
I'd like to show up now.
Alright.
So yeah, so the two of you, Cabbage and Mizuki, can show
Now
up.
I
at
would
this
like to
point.
ask you, what has my mother told me about the age of giving wine to children? Because I wouldn't know, but my mother told me, so...
16 is the lower limit.
Okay, you're fine.
Oh, me too.
So how obvious is it that there's some?
I'll pour you 2 wine.
Thank you.
Alma's probably pretty good at hiding it. I don't know about Simi.
My face is bright red and I look like I'm about to strangle Alma.
So I
Just
take
slide
my
another
wine.
bottle across the counter.
You sure you should be having more of that? Look a bit flushed.
Alma, what
What?
did you do?
No,
I think
apparently
I
there's a
made-
mad arsonist around that tried to burn down the forge earlier
Yeah, this
today.
man just came in and he's wearing the robes from her. Wait, where are you going? Well, come on. He's going to a secret place, and I think Simi wants to talk to him. Come on, I'll tell you on the way.
Alma is then full out sprinting.
As is Simi.
Right, so apparently
I'll
we're
leave-
running.
Oh
Tell
no.
Tangui in charge, and I'll
Tangui in
go
charge.
with, I guess.
I will run after you.
I'll grab a couple of bottles of
Yeah.
wine.
So on the way, I'm like, so there was this man,
Running with
and he's in the
bottles in
robes
hand.
of the weird order that see me, and so he came in and took off his gloves and tried to light the forge on fire.
That's stupid.
And Constable Ricks, who woke me up the other day while I was sleeping in the hammock.
Constable Dick.
Yes, yep, exactly. He had wanted posters for the man he was putting up around town,
Huh.
and I think
The man
I
can
think
see into the
Lucia knows
future.
him.
Who?
Lucia,
Your grandma?
no, her.
Simi?
Lucia is her name.
What?
I'm running at this point, so I don't know what that
I didn't know that was her name. All I
Yeah,
know is
her name
Simi's.
is her name is Lucia.
Or is it May? I don't know.
Okay, well,
Wait,
I'm
why would
gonna
her
have to
name be
ask.
May?
Apparently that's the name my mother gave her.
What? Why
Oh,
was
you don't. Oh, you don't.
Why
know.
was your mother giving
Apparently,
her a random name?
apparently, Simi's my half sister.
Wait, what?
I know
You're
it's
huffing
very
and puffing
it's
and
very
running.
confusing.
Didn't you know?
Wait. So she's you. So you have the same mother,
Yeah.
and her mother, which is your mother, named her May and left her with the monks.
Yes.
Question mark.
Question mark.
Why? Wait, but she's half elf. So wait, so you
confused.
half siblings. So it's your mother is also her mother, but you don't have the same father. So what happened to her father?
And I'm my own grandpa. Sorry.
You know, I never asked,
Huh.
but I assume it's like one of those things that just happens in the night.
I suppose you're right. I suppose that is the sort of thing that just happens in the night. I suppose that is one way of looking at that situation. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Are you okay?
Oh god.
Choke my wife, okay?
Okay.
That's a different kind of roleplay.
This stream just went PG-13.
I was about to say only Keith gets to do that.
Okay.
Anyway, we're running.
Yes, we're all running.
All right, so you all, so Alma, you go barreling into your secret spot.
Do you trip over the hammock?
No. And he immediately pulls out his book
Okay.
and looks, and I'm assuming that you come in shortly thereafter.
Oh yeah. I'm
Are you looking for words to help you out of this situation?
fuck with that.
Simple, unpretentious, unsophisticated, blameless or well-intentioned, even if unsuccessful or misguided.
So when we get there, I'm like, wait. This looks like it's gonna be good.
Morally correct or virtuous.
I'm just gonna
Is Simi
tackle
gonna
him.
kick Alma's ass?
Just gonna tackle him.
I should have brought popcorn.
For you.
Yes.
What are you doing, Alma?
I think he was reading.
Laying on the ground, and you're on top of me.
Why are you here?
So I just popped
Addressing.
some corks.
This is my
because you
place.
said you
Not
needed because you said you needed to watch Alma and make sure he didn't get. No, she asked the question. You said you need to ask. to make sure Alma didn't get hurt, and we're all his friends, so I thought that we would also come to make sure he doesn't get hurt.
I appreciate that you think of me.
I'm
as a
on the
friend.
opposite side of that.
And apparently
I would buy
Adrian
this
came
shirt.
here to make sure he did get hurt? Yeah, to make sure he did.
No, if it happens, I want to be there.
That hurts worse.
Well, it happened. We've come full circle.
Right, keep going, pretend we're not here.
Doesn't work that way.
You can't hide on the sidelines and then.
What are you talking about? I do this at dinner with my grandparents all the time.
We're going
How
for a
does that
walk,
work out
Helma.
for you?
She
Great.
just like picks you up.
I
and
I learn
goes
all
for
sorts of
you.
interesting
I
things.
want to go on a walk.
Like I learned all about your little deal with him.
That wasn't a question.
Wait,
Here there are witnesses.
he discusses business matters with
Oh, not with me, but over dinner,
Oh.
and he forgets I'm there.
okay, so you're basically invisible to him.
So I'm just going to drag you by the arm. We're going to go for a walk now.
Alright,
He's
follow.
There's no
Perfectly
arsonist in my hideout.
Okay.
You're good. No worries.
No, ours-
Go back to the festival and enjoy it.
For me.
Oh geez, even with my low wisdom, I can see past your bullshit.
Not hard.
I'm trying to sneak after them.
No.
Yep.
Yep.
Sure.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
I'll
okay.
follow Adrian.
I'll follow.
Or I'll follow Krillian.
I'm not
Krillian.
sneaky, but I will follow.
I'm sneaky.
I'm not.
Okay, so with a
Six is my lowest
perception
stat.
of 15, that's not great. It's not terrible, but it's not great.
18 stealth.
Oh,
Oh, I should
Oh,
roll.
shoot.
Don't you have things?
Nope.
Oh.
11?
Also an 11.
Oh.
7.
Correct.
So
That's right, you have a negative dexterity.
Yeah, I
So
do have
three
a
of the
negative
four
dexterity.
are sort of still there.
how
I'm
long
not
is it
good
going
at
to take for
sneaking.
them to give up on following us, Alma? You know them probably a bit
Have
better
you met
than me.
Cabbage?
If she could swim, she would follow me to the ends of the earth.
I mean, it would depend.
How deep's the river?
I'm just going to like lean over, wrap my arm around him, squeeze him in real tight. So,
Which thing is this about?
which thing? How many things have you done?
Have you ever seen someone at a circus who juggles? They got a lot of balls in the air.
Fair.
Yeah.
Hope I don't get
So-
caught. Hope I don't get caught.
Describe these things to me.
I'm trying to get
They're
close enough I can hear.
usually colored and
No,
round.
no, 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 no.
Sometimes it's knives.
The knives that you currently are juggling, tell me what those are.
Well, there's a couple of those. You've seen the wanted posters around town, right?
Yes. Yes, as a matter of fact, I have.
I made sure those got put up.
I figured.
So he informed
Constable.
Rick? Then how did it
I'm, I'm
Alma
saying
know?
this softly, like in
I don't
his
think you can
ear.
get close enough
Yeah.
to know.
Okay. I'd try a wisdom,
You
but
can.
Yeah.
I'd try a wisdom. That's not gonna work.
So,
Us three are just enjoying a nice Chardonnay.
No, I'm trying to sneak. I'm just doing it badly.
Alright, well,
I'm also not.
Like,
I'm tackling
very
these three
bad.
bottles.
So my word today is honest.
huh.
am I close enough?
No.
No.
I honestly don't want to talk about this.
Fair.
Really?
Yep.
I think that I honestly feel like it's a terribly, terribly misguided idea to try to burn your friend's workplace down wearing somebody else's body
Okay, but
just to
okay, if there was a place that was gonna be able to put out a fire, it's a forge.
What are they saying?
Can you not just let this go?
Did he let you go?
Oh. Oh.
Dang.
Damn, Gina. she just like freezes in place for a second.
Does
I
that
am
mean we can
going
catch up?
to pay.
Can we catch
And you guys can catch up, but they're still talking so softly.
Okay.
Killian is
Um,
hiding behind a tree, losing his freaking mind.
So you guys make me a perception check at disadvantage.
Wow. Nice.
14.
Okay.
12?
If you get above a 10, you probably should just call it good.
2, 1, 4. Oh wow.
So no.
I'm too engrossed in this bottle. I'm already all the way through it.
Zuki and Cabbage, yes.
Okay.
You're starting. You can start to hear from this point on what's being said.
Okay.
I'm going to roll to see if I can tell how far away they are. Nope.
No,
Even
you know
plus
I'm
a
here.
5. That's well. I don't know. Maybe some
You
of
know
you.
I'm here.
So that's gonna end up being 13. If I can hear one of them, I'm going to stop talking.
I mean, I wouldn't say anything.
Yeah, we haven't said
Well, yeah, but like rustling around behind me,
Yeah,
close
go
enough
ahead
to be
and
in earshot.
re-roll me y'all's stealth
stealth.
checks.
Okay. This is gonna be bad.
Balls.
Yep.
You know, the
Wow.
sentence in my book
I'm gonna re-roll
says,
that.
I
Actually, roll.
Okay.
Okay, that's a
Um,
little better.
he'd made an honest mistake.
24.
13.
2.
And you rolled a what?
Getting caught was an
Well, it was
honest
a 2, but
Getting
like
caught
plus
was an
3,
honest mistake.
5.
15. No,
15.
13.
13. Okay.
Yep,
So
sorry.
so you do catch Mizuki and you catch Adrian, sort of getting
It's
closer.
not like I'm
behind you.
trying to stealth. I'm chugging a bottle of wine. Just all of a sudden you hear. I was like,
Sneak, sneak, glug. Sneak, sneak, glug.
just opening the second bottle of wine, you hear the cork go off.
She kind of loops back towards his little hiding space and makes sure that she swings wide enough to not encounter any of the people that she's hearing, and just draws them in really close. Cabbage. Cabbage.
Cabbage.
Wrong one. Alma.
Just imagine him like,
Like, she said my name!
They're talking about me.
Alma, I appreciate the thought. I really do. But this is not your fight. And picking a fight with someone that powerful in the capital is a really, really bad idea.
Yep, poor Constable Rick. He made a poor choice.
You have to be more careful.
I was pretty careful. You know because you know him. Nobody else around here does.
I do. I've known him all my life.
You didn't hear that.
I know.
So, when one of these posters finds its way into the capital, somebody will have a lot of explaining to do. And maybe something will come out of it, maybe nothing will. But if it makes his life even a little more difficult, I feel like I've done a good thing.
I'm very angry with you.
That's not the first time that's happened. But
You're not
you
wrong.
should know that it wasn't supposed to hurt you.
And I understand that. Which is why I'm going to try very hard to not lose my cool.
You mean like maybe dragging me out of the hideout in front of all of our friends?
I feel like dragging is a strong word.
I don't.
Oh, that is an indentation, isn't it? Sorry.
Yep,
Yeah,
that's
that's
gonna
Your mother's gonna be like, Alma, why is your neck bruised?
It's fine.
Bart Simpson it.
Minor details.
I am going to ask you very nicely. Because I like you and you are the first friend that I had here. I want to keep you safe.
I appreciate that.
If you keep doing these things, you are going to make it infinitely more difficult to keep you safe.
Look, I can't get to the capital anytime soon. This particular juggling knife, ball, whichever you prefer, is sort of in the air indefinitely until I make it to the capital. So it's just I just plan on sending some of these upriver, and we'll see what happens after that. But there's not much more I can do from here. I just had to do what I could. Because you're my friend too.
This will probably not be the last time that we discuss this, but I need to think about things a little bit more to be able to discuss it much further. And she's gonna, like, bring you into an actual hug.
This one hurts less.
I need everyone to make me a perception check.
Oh no.
please.
Town's on fire.
This is where we're gonna die.
Again.
Oh, that was terrible. I'm
Unnatural
distracted.
one.
Okay,
15, 17.
17.
Unnatural 20.
Okay,
8,
okay,
16.
okay.
9.
All right. So anyone who
Dope. I rolled a 3, making that an unnatural
anyone who
one.
got a 10 or higher,
Must hurt.
the moonlight is getting progressively brighter. And brighter. And brighter.
That's no moon.
And that's not moonlight, as all around Sutterton there are sudden impacts.
Oh no. Oh no.
But you could use that.
As huge hunks of rock, glowing red from heat, and come screaming out of the sky and crash into the ground around the town. One of them lands not too far from where you guys are. Several of them land real close to town. You're not real sure if anything in town got hit or not, but it's close. What do you guys want to do?
I am
What was
breaking
that?
How do
the-
I not notice this?
No, you didn't notice it before they
You
hit.
didn't
Yeah, you
notice
didn't
the
you didn't
light.
notice the light.
Oh,
Ah, the town's on
Lightning?
fire.
So from behind a tree really close to you two, like within earshot, as soon as it impacts you,
Alma,
We should probably hurry and get
I was
back.
running home.
Yep, me too.
I'm
Yep.
Running.
gonna follow after him.
Okay. So on your way back, you guys do pass an enormous impact crater. There is dust and dirt flung that is starting to settle down. There's smoke. The heat is intense. Do you pause at all to look down into the crater?
I won't.
Yes.
I do.
I won't.
Okay.
Yes.
So anyone who stops,
Petrified.
anyone who stops to look, there is an enormous hunk of rock, glowing red, that, as you watch, splits down the center and
Starts screwing off the top for 3 days.
peels open, and shapes start emerging from it.
What kind of shapes?
They are like nothing you have seen
I thought I
before,
was joking about aliens, man.
except
Aliens.
you.
Okay.
What?
Oh,
What?
no.
No. Okay. What?
So there is some, so the things that are emerging,
Okay.
they're not exactly the same, but there are similarities in shape, in form, in some of the structures that you're seeing. You're seeing long snouts. You're seeing tiny horns coming down off of their skulls, ridged backs. Some of them, but not all, have proportionally large leathery wings. And they look an awful lot like the symbol that your family has named Dragon. And
You
uses
did this.
as their
You all don't know
as
this.
their logo as their logo and as their mascot,
As our.
or
yeah,
or
as-
whatever.
as
you know,
our-
it's
yeah.
it's the
As our
emblem.
symbol.
Yeah,
Dragons.
it's the emblem of your family.
Yes.
And these shapes are spilling out of this rock and starting to claw their way up the sides of the impact crater, yipping as they go.
All right. I will break the 2 empty bottles that I have to form makeshift daggers
All right.
and prepare for an assault as they attack us. I
All right.
assume.
I'm running. I'm running. I have 1 hit point. I am running.
All right. So I'm going to take initiative at this point.
Oh,
What?
But
I'm
I
gonna die.
didn't think we were gonna have like
I'm gonna
daggers so
die.
soon.
What?
Are you freaking kidding me?
Did you roll a 1?
I rolled a 1.
Oh,
That brings it to 4,
I
but
should
it's
not
still
laugh
a 1.
before I do this. That's better.
Well, it's double 1s to
This
11.
is gonna be, so that's gonna end up, it's just dex, right? Or
Nice.
is it dex
Yeah.
plus proficiency?
It's just
Dex.
It's just X.
So that's gonna be 15, okay.
Ooh, although that wouldn't be a
Cabbage
bad thing
is
to
gonna-
add
how
to
do you think
certain
I feel?
classes if you
If I take
want
2
to
points of
add
damage,
proficiency
I'm
to your-
dead.
you're running.
Weird
Cabbage is
initiative.
your
You should be running.
Cabbage isn't running.
That's an idea.
I get the impression by the fact that we
I
were
have
just
a
asked
ferret.
to roll initiative that running is not going to be necessarily an option.
But for some of us, it might mean they live longer.
That is fair.
Natural 20 for a 21.
Come on.
I do have 5 hit points.
14.
14,
10.
10.
18.
15,
Okay.
A 1, but that brings it to a 4. So
level 0, dragons.
It's
I think
fine.
they're little dragons.
Little.
We don't know how big dragons get.
This is fine.
we don't even
These
know what
could be
dragons are.
full-size dragons.
Fine.
We don't know. Okay.
You, you terrible, terrible man.
They're cobalt.
Kobold.
Oh.
You monster.
What? They just had you ride on some rocks.
I
Dragon goblin. I think that just
Fun is a word
I
for
was
it.
not planning on having to do this at level 1.
We're not even level 1.
No,
We're
well,
not
I have
even-
2 makeshift daggers.
Or at level 0, so now I have to
And I have
figure
a
out
third
how
bottle
to
if you
do
want
it.
to take it and
So
smash it for
Steven
you.
is going to start this party off, so we'll wait for him to get
Here it
back.
comes.
Sorry.
You're up.
I.
We have.
Why did Steven see the cards?
They're
Steven did not see the
Yeah.
cards.
That's kind of what I figured.
Oh, well, the rest of us didn't.
Oh.
The hell is this,
I mean,
Keith?
they're dragon kin, so.
Why? You monster!
Shattered stone cold.
It has regeneration.
I mean,
I'm running. I don't know about the rest of you. I'm running.
Yeah, I might be joining you in that regard.
I mean, I'm gonna try.
What? Why are you looking in sorcerer?
I'm not. I just stopped there because I was working my way backward.
Okay.
Natural 20.
I don't have anything.
Technically,
Is
right.
there
Yeah.
anything in front of me directly?
Anything
'Cause
right-
I'm still heading.
anything
I'm making a direct
From
line
here up.
So the direct line home
So
actually
I
leads you
can only
like
punch
through
things.
through that.
Yes, but you're not
impact
even
crater.
proficient.
So you
No,
actually have
yeah.
to detour
No.
around it.
I can't.
Okay. Do I think that they can
What-
reach
what
me
is a
from the
normal
inside of there?
unarmored thing?
Uh,
Oh, I'm going to.
One.
possibly.
One.
1 point.
One.
One
I
hit
am.
point?
It
I'm
deals
headed
1
home
point
to
plus
make
your
sure
strength
Mom and Dad are
bonus.
okay. So.
Okay.
Which is
So,
zero.
so you're just going to
So
use your
1
movement
point.
and
I am
and
running.
your
No.
and your dash.
Yeah,
actually
unless there's
dash.
something that is within
No,
my
we
reach,
have a
that's
hit
what I
die,
should do.
Okay.
right?
No,
that's
no, no. Unarmed
Un-
attacks.
All right. Mizuki,
Yes.
it is your turn.
Um,
And then it will be Simi.
I like your notes.
And so Mizuki, Simi, and Killian.
Okay, I'm probably like really confused right now.
yeah.
But maybe
Really
a little
wish
less
I could
confused
cast
than
Expeditious
everyone
Retreat.
else. But not really. I will.
It might be, I actually don't know.
I mean, I have a feeling that she just doesn't want to mess with them. So
Okay. Well, I mean, you did see Alma just like detour around the crater and just keep running.
okay, yeah, Mizuki's probably just gonna follow Alma.
Okay.
Yeah.
You do still have your ferret with you.
Yes, I do still
Or
have the
Not your
Defend
ferret.
the
but-
ferret
The
at all
ferret.
But
costs.
you know,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah, I do have a ferret.
All right. So you'll use your action and so you'll use your movement and your action to dash.
Yes, yes, I will.
Question.
Is
As part of my turn, can I reach into my robes? I'm not gonna attack with it or anything, but and pull out one of the bone arrows.
yes, absolutely.
Okay.
That we will consider that an interaction. Okay. Anything else?
I feel like she'd probably pull out her bladed fan at this point. Just in
All
case.
right. Sounds good.
I'm a farmer.
Simi. Alma and Mizuki are still running. They're not going to stop
we're-
to face
we're running.
these. They're still running.
You're gonna die.
I'm going to, as I continue to run, ask in common, friend or foe?
Friendly foe.
Okay. It doesn't seem as though they understood you.
Don't speak
Shocking.
common. Gonna keep running. Okay.
All right. Killian?
Running.
Running?
Running.
Okay.
Running.
Where?
Oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit.
Away.
Oh.
Towards town. To where there are hopefully people.
Okay, so as you guys are looking, you are seeing about a half dozen other pillars of smoke from the direction of town. Looks like one of them possibly landed up near the manor. One of them landed near the vineyard. One of them landed near the forge as well.
Not much I can do.
These are the stars you were wishing on.
Thanks for this wish, Adrian.
You should have told the DM. I wish for a peaceful night with no kobolds.
So the kobolds come pouring over the edge of the crater. It's hard to count how many there are. Dozen, 20.
Doesn't matter. Run.
They've got little daggers in their hands.
Yep, running.
Some of them have bows that they've fashioned.
Running faster.
There is one
Jeez.
that sort of not so much like scrambling up to the top. He just sort of very sedately works his way up to the top and reaches behind him, lifts his hands, points forward,
Fireball.
and like rain of gravel starts following you guys.
Oh.
Yep, nope, running.
And it's not doing any damage, and because it's sort of catching you guys in the back, normally there's a save associated with that, but
Because you
since-
don't want to kill us immediately.
since it's hitting you guys in the back of the head and not in the face, you guys are not going to get blinded by it.
Because if they deal damage, I will literally die.
Yes.
Cabbage.
Well, she was gonna stand and I imagined that she kind of stood there and watched what was going on while everybody else started acting. But then as soon as pebbles started coming towards us and everybody else was running and it
You're,
looked
like,
like it was a
out?
bad idea, yeah, I'm running.
Oh, okay.
You were fine till rocks started flying at you.
Yeah, then
Yeah.
they're for sure not friendly.
All right.
Is Adrian about to die?
Adrian.
Oh, we're friendly meat.
Run, bucket boy!
Catch
I will start running, but do I have enough time to just like throw one of the things at the winged thing?
Sure.
Oh, that's not gonna go
Make
well.
yourself a target. Good on you. At least that means we're not a target.
Wow.
14?
4 hit points. 1 hit point.
14 is enough to hit.
Oh wow.
So 1d4 plus
Glass in your eyes.
6 points of damage.
Not bad.
Not bad.
I'm impressed.
It does, however, make its con save.
Oh.
And so it sort of turns and stares
Oh,
at
I'll
you.
hand
Oh,
a second
wow.
throw.
Oh, jeez.
All right.
Oh no. Ooh! Ooh! Nat
Natural 20.
Nice. It doesn't matter
Okay.
because you catch it in the eyes with the sharpened glass, and it just sort of does a backflip in the air and falls back into the back into the
Oh, but now it has a vendetta.
And I will continue running with the group.
Technically, it does not have a vendetta because it
Is dead.
Or at least has glass in its eyes.
Everybody make me a perception check real quick.
If he regenerates and he just has glass in his eyes.
6, no,
13.
13,
23.
Perception.
18.
18,
9.
no, okay,
14.
14. Anybody above a 10?
The heroes.
Somebody
There
tougher
are
than
3
us.
horses coming through the smoke and dust.
And 4 or 5 ferrets on them.
My ferrets who yes,
One of
indeed.
the horses does have
They were were
have
ferrets.
2 riders and a ferret, and the second rider is
Pulls off his ferret.
standing up and firing.
Ooh.
Just
Legolas.
and they we're actually going to drop you guys out of initiative.
You were just trying to scare us.
Of course.
Well, you succeeded.
Yes, you did.
I killed one.
And
Broken bottles.
they make short work. These heroes make short work of the swarm. You do see the one kobold that does keep trying to fling rocks and gravel at the heroes. When that is not successful, he starts to try and open pits under their horses, but the horses are moving so fast that the pits open up behind them.
He's not leading his targets.
He's not leading the targets. No, absolutely not.
Oh, dang it. Oh, dang it. Oh, dang it.
And so the adventurers wade into this group of kobolds, just hacking and slashing and firing arrows as they go, and they make very short work of them. So you guys sort of pull up and stop your running as you see all of this and just watch in awe as these strangers decimate these creatures.
Well, that's very useful that they came.
Wow, those guys are cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
They
are,
really,
aren't they?
really are.
There's more craters.
I'm really glad that the forest.
Find someplace safe. We'll handle this.
What's the safest place we know?
I'm going.
Everybody,
home.
we need to go to the stables.
Why?
No.
Why?
No.
I'll explain later.
I mean, I guess that's on the way where
It's
I'm
okay.
going.
We can go.
Sure.
See me. I'm going home.
Come with you.
It would probably be best if you stayed together. Oh, and she reaches out. Come here, Acorn.
It's okay. We're basically heading towards your house anyway.
Alma is not immediately going. He is going back after one of the bows.
Make a grapple check because I'm going to pick you up and take you with us.
Good luck with that.
Dexterity then. Is it 7?
I'm higher.
Yeah.
I have picked you up and I am taking you with us.
I won't stop him.
I was gonna stab you with an arrow, but that's not good.
Nope. No,
All right,
it's
so
not.
so you guys are headed where?
To the stables.
To the state.
Or at least to the square, at least to see.
Yeah, it's in the general direction
Yeah.
of where we all need to be going
Yeah.
anyway.
Okay. So you guys are on your way into town. You do pass. The adventurers head off in front of you, and they'll swerve off to one.
What is the, how
Crater
is
or
the
the
book
other.
guy fighting?
Well, he doesn't seem to be fighting, but he's
He's a bard.
he's like furiously writing in his book and narrating as he goes, and it's almost like his words are like lifting his friend's spirits
Okay.
He's a
and
bard.
giving them
He's
a
a
little
bard.
bit of oomph
He's a moral booster.
and
Morale.
yeah, and so you've got the arrows whizzing by, sword flashing, and then there's Nana.
Oh yes, please tell us about Nana.
she is literally standing in her saddle, like up on top of the back of her horse. She's got her feet like crossed so that one foot is going one way, the other foot's going the other, and she is at a full gallop. Her legs are just absorbing all of the motion, and her head is not moving, and she's holding her staff, but it's not really a staff because it's got weird like stuff hanging off of one end, and she is yelling something in a language none of you have ever heard before.
I'm pretty sure that was a bad word.
And anywhere she points her staff, the creatures fall.
Power word kill. Power word kill. Power word kill.
Sleep.
Ah,
Which is that sorcerer or?
Who knows?
not stopping her.
It's a spellcaster.
Seemi
Everybody
looks a little
make
conflicted, but
a
she keeps
perception
on.
check.
17.
7.
15.
Perception.
Natural
18.
1.
Not 20.
Natural 20.
Nice. 18.
18. Anybody above a 10? As she's got her staff over her head, the medallion that she wears on her hand is glowing.
Can we tell what the medallion is of?
No.
Okay.
I think it's a cleric or a paladin.
Probably.
Cleric.
All right. So they're clearing a path for you
All
guys.
the dead.
Every one of the impacts that they find, they are clearing it out before you guys get there.
Sweet.
Nice.
So you guys make it fairly easy. Actually, make me dex saves.
Oh, no.
no.
We're gonna fall in a pit.
I'm being carried.
Yeah, you're being carried, so it doesn't matter for you.
Oh, that's good.
Unnatural 20.
Okay.
It's gonna be a
Oh.
22.
19?
Okay.
16.
Okay.
Maybe higher. 16.
5.
It's okay. This is a group challenge, so one failure is not going to slow you guys up.
Scoop you up and
Um,
like dexterity.
I am
so
not
coming into
experienced.
town, so coming into town, you do pass the cloister, and your fellows, Simi, are have got the door closed, and from experience, you know that it's probably barred as well.
Checks out.
You see a lookout
Going out and helping people.
in the top of the.
They're like
So you do see lookout in the top of the tower, sort of looking out over the scene. You know from experience that he's probably calling down to someone at the bottom of the tower, and the news is spreading through the cloisters that way. There's some martial ability there, but not a lot. So typically, it is a hunker down bunker mentality.
Gotcha.
The townsfolk with nothing.
As you're passing the cloister, you are seeing members of the militias, the volunteer militia, sort of rolling, stumbling out of their houses with, still trying to pull battered armor, very disused, doesn't get pulled out all that often. Swords and pikes and weapons that have gathered dust or flecks of rust, and they're trying their best to get ready and get out to face whatever is happening. The alarm bell is tolling in town. Your adventurers are, starting to whenever they run across members of the militia, they sort of rally them and form them up and help them to get organized, sort of buck their spirits up a little bit and start directing them in the directions they need to go. And pretty quickly it becomes apparent that these guys are good at rallying people and getting them organized. You are passing by the sanctuary to the Empress, may she live forever. And you do see that it appears as though there's one of the rocks has actually crashed through the roof into the building. Ooh. And has set the wooden tiles on the roof on fire.
Shame. Real shame.
In a wooden town, yeah, that's not just a shame.
And as you guys sort of come abreast of it, the stone wall sort of sloughs in and starts to collapse towards you guys.
Woo!
So this is a skill check. Pick a skill that you're proficient with. Tell me what you're doing.
I'm going to use my athletics check to toss him out of the way.
All right. Make that check.
21.
And that is a success. So, Alma, I need you to make me a dexterity save.
12, 13, 14.
All right. So as Adrian tosses you, you hit the ground and sort of tumble and roll as an enormous block of stone out of the wall lands right where you did, but you have rolled out of the way.
So using my knowledge of stone cutting and investigation, can I quickly sort of figure out where, as the wall is crumbling, somewhere I can stand where it will not actually fall on me and it should just sort of crumble
You-
You
around
can use
me?
an investigation
can
check
make
to judge where the window will be.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, there we go.
You can make that attempt because I think that's amazing.
26.
And that is a success. Who's next?
Oh,
Go ahead. Okay. I'm going to use. Can I just do straight dex, or should I do
It
something?
needs to be a
specific?
skill you are proficient.
I would like to stealth away from the building.
That-
Stealth
Yeah,
from the building.
actually, I would like to use my stealth to
sneak
sneak
away
out
from
of
the
the
falling
way
rocks.
of the rocks.
Wait, okay, what are your.
So I was
So-
sort of-
so what do you
use your
have?
Stealth to make yourself really small to avoid the rocks.
For that, if that makes more sense.
So say that again. Sorry.
Coming.
Like
Use
hiding
my stealth
behind-
to make myself really small.
Like hiding a proverbial pole.
So like sort of
Alright.
contort herself to a weird
Yeah,
shape to avoid
I
all
will allow
of
that. Make that roll.
Okay, that's gonna be 21.
Okay, and that is a success.
Insight,
Um,
persuasion, sleight of hand.
Is there
Makes you feel
anyone
better. I was
else
looking-
around?
I was like,
I mean, for the moment, it's your group of friends, and the adventurers are kind of already past the building, the wall where it's coming down. There are other members of the militia that are trying to scramble out of the way as well.
just
I
provide that
guess
nudge to
I'll make
part it.
a persuasion check
Okay, what are you
to
trying?
convince someone to
I can't think of
help me get away.
No, I'm out of the way.
Roll it, roll it,
That's pretty much all I have. So,
roll it.
I can try to persuade the rocks.
Please don't follow my friends in the rocks.
22.
What's that?
22.
22. Okay. That I will count that as a success.
Okay.
As one of the militiamen that is
Sacrifices
coming up
himself.
behind you
Sacrifices himself.
scoops you up.
Perfect.
Puts one arm around your waist and just scoops you up and runs out of the way. As the wall sort of collapses where you were.
Excellent.
See me.
Nat 20.
what are you doing?
Acrobatics. As the thing falls, I am going to.
Legolas jump on top.
Pretty much. I'll even give that like eye roll that he does right before when he's like, "This is not supposed to be physically possible, you guys," and then does it.
I love it. Okay. And that counts as a success as well. That means 5 of the 6 of you have gotten out from under the wall as it came down.
Oh, right.
You're beefy, right?
Yeah,
Just
just
take a
catch
hit.
it.
Alright, so.
Take the wall.
I'll take the wall.
Oh no.
When I said to take the wall, that's not what I meant.
Hey, I got
Alright.
the child out.
3 points of bludgeoning damage as the rocks bounce off of you as they're collapsing. You did find
I would have been
a
dead.
little
Yep,
bit of
right.
a seam, so it hits you as they go by, but it's one of those where it's sort of splitting open, and the dust goes up everywhere.
Hadrian!
Ow!
Once it goes down, I'm gonna run in and try and get him.
If you'd only been standing like 3 steps to your left.
Well, it's not my fault you were occupying that space.
I will go try to help dig him out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
It doesn't take long to move stuff out of the way, and get him clear. The sounds of metal clashing on metal and sounds like explosions happening all over. The rain of gravel sort of pelting against shields and armor. It's cacophonous. You've never experienced anything like it. You've read about these types of stories, you've heard these types of stories told to you, but you've never witnessed it firsthand until tonight. You guys make your way back to the stable. Thankfully, the inn is still standing. The stable is still standing. And you guys rush in and pull the doors closed behind you as you go, I assume.
Yeah.
Why
So
are
why
we
are we
here?
here?
Nobody looks for anybody in the stables. Does anybody have anything to
She
write
would
with?
be the expert on
I
where
do.
people don't look for you.
Can I
I mean,
borrow
fair.
a scrap of paper?
Cacophonous aquatics girl. Loud,
What about our
tumultuous.
families?
I suppose
chaotic.
I'm pretty sure she probably
I have
actually
my
knows the word.
business case, so I have my paper and ink and my brush.
Yeah, a brush.
What are we doing?
Yeah, that's what I write with.
Cabbage,
No,
what
isn't
did you
that
do?
how
I
you
think
write?
we're hiding.
Could I have you write something down for me?
Yes, of course, of course.
All
I would
right.
love to.
I'm gonna
Sorry.
pull out that scrap of paper
Okay.
thing.
All right, if you could write down.
All of whatever's on there.
Okay.
I wrote down keywords in here, but I didn't write down everything.
Well, that's,
Oh right, it was just scraps anyway.
yeah.
So, Sionis, Valley of the Four Kings, Dwarven Treasure, and Ogre's Deep.
I'm running. I'm still headed home.
That's fair.
Thank you so much. Can I have that paper, please?
I'm gonna grab kind of around your waist. Like,
And
let's all go with you. Just 1 second. This won't take much longer, right?
No, I just have to put this thing back in a thing.
What?
and I'm going to put the little parchment thing back in the saddlebags.
I'm
we're
That'll
running
take
to the
that
table.
back in the
point, yeah.
saddlebags.
I'm gonna forget about the cloak.
Had a feeling. Okay.
Oh no!
Oh no.
So, Cabbage, you're going to have to tell me at some point
I
what
definitely
you did.
will. Let's all go home now.
Okay.
Thank you all. I love you.
So now we go.
You can't go home
Why not?
because there are kobolds that direction.
You could come to the inn with me.
We're going to the tailor's.
Yeah, let's stay together.
Are
and
we
just all
out of
go.
the stable now?
But
Can I make a perception check, see if I can see my mother running throughout the crowd of individuals?
Sure.
Yeah, where are we?
That would be a scratch.
Oh, it's digging itself deeper.
The dice said no.
Grab your bats and grab your balls.
8.
8. You don't see her, no.
All of that for an 8.
That's just insulting.
Because it went in there.
Man.
You do, however, see Tanguy with a smear of red running down his face.
His perfect looks.
Okay.
Bless you.
Bless you.
Bless you.
That was
All right, so what are you guys doing?
I'm running home.
I would also like to start running home.
All right, so they're going to separate homes. What about the rest of you guys?
I should probably head back to my place.
Are you okay?
With what?
You're injured. A building just fell on you.
Then no, I'm not alright.
No, I'm not okay.
Alma, I'll check in just a bit.
Remember the candied apple?
Killian, do you want to come? The manor is in that direction.
I think they'll be fine at the manor. I'm actually going to run to the forge.
Okay.
Where you saw that there was one that landed.
Was there one that landed in the forge or just near the forge?
Just near it.
Yeah, I'm running to the forge.
Okay.
Do I see anything that I could use as a weapon?
We'll get to.
Okay.
We'll get to all of that. What are you doing?
I'd assume she.
Where you're staying, huh?
I'm
Yeah.
in the
Sure.
inn, yeah.
Mizuki just tucks herself into bed and goes
Yep.
rest
she's
for the
gonna-
rest of the evening.
Poor peasants.
Third world problems.
There's no problems that are not mine. Yeah, she's probably gonna go back to the inn. 'Cause
Okay,
that's-
so
but-
it's just right across. So it's just right across
yeah, and I
the,
mean it's
the
just
yard.
right there, so.
And it does look like there's starting to be a little bit of a cordon of militiamen form around it to keep the creatures away, whatever they happen to be. So you figure it'll probably be safe for the
okay.
evening. All right. Alma. So you go tearing off through a scene of, utter chaos. Smoke everywhere. Now you are seeing buckets. You are seeing a line of buckets emanating from the well in town. So it looks like that part at least is being taken care of. Haven't had time to build like the whole pump wagon or anything like that. It's just haven't had the time. So the bucket brigade is still out, sending water and sand to the places. Thankfully, it doesn't appear as though there's a lot of buildings on fire, and the ones that are being addressed. You make it home. The shop is okay. Looks like the window out front has sort of spiderwebbed a little bit and will need to be replaced, but it is still sort of holding together. You run to your family's quarters, and your dad and your mom are there, and huddled under the stairs. And when they see you, they sort of reach out and grab you, pull you in, and pull the door slamming shut behind you. You make your way over to the forge. It does look like a division of the militia has made it out to whatever crash site was just beyond it.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't get to the forge, didn't get to the stoneworks or anything like that. And it appears as though the militia is holding its own against the creatures. They're not making headway, but they're not losing ground either. So it seems like more of a stalemate than anything. What are you doing once you get there?
So, you'll have to tell me if I'm able to do this. I want to grab whatever odds and ends and other things I've that I know are in the forge and cobble together a makeshift crossbow. It's not going to be nice, it's not going to work super well, but that is what he's going to
Hopefully
try to
gets
do.
a shot or two off.
Odds or evens?
Odds.
Okay. You are able to find just about all the pieces you need, but there's a couple that you're not able to find. So you've got it all sort of bodged together, and you're missing like the actual squeeze release. You would have to make up one of those, and the sight at the very end of the barrel. So you could do without that, but you need the trigger.
How hard would it be for me to find something real fast?
Make an investigation check.
Unnatural 20.
So you're able to find a piece that should work. Not long. Probably have 3 or 4 shots.
It's fine. I'm going to grab that, and then I'm going to head towards the tailor's house first.
Okay, cool. Cabbage. You, as you get further and further out of town, it seems like there's less your direction, at least in the way of chaos. Most of it seems to be back towards town. You get home, you fling the door open.
There's a family of kobolds sitting at your table.
You fling the door open, and there is a family at your table. It is your family, and they all sort of look up from dinner.
They're just like, what?
Where have you been? And
Leave it to the Cabbage family to
The
just
sky
ignore
is
everything.
The Atwoods.
The Atwoods.
The town's on fire. I didn't do it.
and your parents drop their plates onto the table. Stay here and watch the kids, and they take off and head into town. Your dad is still sort of struggling to get his coat on. Your mom is tying her bonnet around her head as they go.
I'm assuming they're taking my older siblings with them.
Yes.
Yeah, look nice when they go
Like
out.
that.
and bucket water.
It wasn't me this time.
So Mizuki, you've made it to the back to the headless hydra. You're able to get inside. Most of the rest of most of the rest of the staff and most of the rest of the tenants have started sort of clearing out the common room area to make room for wounded, and the wounded are starting to
Arrive.
they're starting to arrive. They're limping in. They're being carried on stretchers, and the innkeeper and his wife are starting to direct people into little places where they can stay out of the way and until they can be tended to. Simi, what were you doing?
I was gonna run back with him and tend his freaking wounds because he's just like
Because he's an idiot.
completely
Adrenaline has
oblivious to
kicked
the
in.
fact that he just got flattened by a wall.
Okay, and you were headed for the for home.
Yeah, assuming that's where my mother is. So.
Okay. So the two of you do arrive at the farmhouse of the winery. It looks as though there was a crash site that landed pretty close by, and it didn't knock the house down, but it definitely shifted it on its
Oh.
foundations, and it's sort of leaning and creaking a good bit.
Oh, that's not great.
What are you gonna do?
Who's that Keith's character about this building?
Shut up.
So there's kobolds in the house.
You don't see any kobolds around.
Okay. I guess we'll go in the house and see if we can find mom.
Okay, you gonna follow him? Okay.
This was all just an elaborate ploy to get you to meet with his mother and have a bonding moment.
Do I like the kind of person that comes up with a plan?
So
I look like a man with a plan.
as you're stepping in to the house, you do look over and notice, both of you look over and notice that the shrine
Right.
should have been decimated, and it is untouched.
Okay.
And so you rush into the house. Shattered glass, shattered glass everywhere.
It's not to the
All of the furniture looks like someone took the house and just shook it.
Right.
The wall, the interior finish on the walls is cracking. The plaster is flaking off. You're hearing the groans
Mm-hmm.
and the creaks as the building is settling against gravity. The back stairs leading upstairs are blocked, so you have to go around to the front. Where the main stairway in the foyer has got about a 5-foot gap in it.
Okay. Can I hear her within the house?
Make me a perception check.
14.
14.
Yes. Who's counting on you?
Sir.
You don't hear a voice necessarily, but you do hear some sort of against the sound of the creaks and the groans. You do hear what sounds like someone unconsciously moaning upstairs.
Head in that direction.
Okay. How are you spanning the gap in the stairs?
Oh, I'll climb.
All right, make me an athletics check.
I'm a parkour it with an 18.
21.
All right, so both of you manage to get to the upper landing. You sort of lead the way down the hall to your mom's room. The door is jammed shut, but you put your shoulder to it, and it gives way.
It's already dislocated.
It popped it back in. Don't worry.
Oh, much better.
So you do find your mom there. It looks as though one of the beams in the roof fell and caught her across the back of the head and shoulders.
I will lift the beam.
I'll help.
Okay. So you're able to shift it and get it off of her. You guys gonna grab her and carry her out?
Yep.
All right.
No, I'm going to leave my mother here to die. Yes, we're taking
Lifts
her.
it up so it's higher and then grab it.
Long live the king.
So
I'm just gonna think about dropping my end, but I won't.
So the two of you are able to get her out and out of the house. It does not dramatically collapse behind you guys because I'm not that cliche. I'm cliche, but not that cliche.
Right.
It's just gonna look like it's gonna collapse.
Yeah, it just looks like it's going to. And you guys carry her out of the house. Where are you gonna drop her off? Where are you gonna take her?
Actually, we'll probably go over to the shrine, seeing as that is probably the most protected place at the moment.
All right. So
Divinely appointed,
as you sort of lay her down, her eyes sort of flutter open a little bit, and she sees you, and she sees you as well.
Oh, my kids. Oh,
And she
Are
just
you just gonna finish her off?
and she just
For what?
finish her.
she smiles, but it's a sad smile. And then she closes her eyes
No!
and lays back down. At least his daughter came back for me.
Did my mother just die?
No!
Will you medicine check, please?
I don't have proficiency.
I'll do a medicine check. It's a negative 2.
Yep, she's definitely dead.
She's dead, and the solution is immediately perform CPR.
Is 3.
He doesn't know CPR.
You rolled a 3.
No.
Oh.
I'm mathing because memory just forgot what I rolled because I picked it up. 12 plus 3, 15. I think that was a
Okay.
12.
She's still breathing.
Oh.
I am going to, just for good measure, even though it's not gonna do anything, I'm putting my hand on her chest and kind of assessing the situation. And as I do that, it would be spare the dying. It's not gonna do anything mechanically because she's not dying, but there is a sense of healing
Step 1,
there.
triage.
Okay.
Do
Yeah.
I see that?
Make a perception check.
I don't know
You're
that
not
it's
wearing a
doing
bucket.
it. Yeah, you're not wearing
Yeah.
a bucket this time.
Not wearing a bucket.
I don't know that it looks like anything either.
Right.
I'm not sure.
I have collapsed down on the
I don't
grass.
know that I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Because we assume he just figured it out
Um,
already.
So at that point, I'll start dressing her wounds since she's the more injured of the two of them, kind of begrudgingly.
Okay. Was it? Okay. So you were headed for the tailor's shop.
Yep.
Okay. So you see, as you're crossing town, you're beginning to notice that the sounds are kind of dying down, as though whatever it was that you just saw happening is starting to be taken care of.
Mm-hmm.
Crossing the town center, you do see a couple of the creatures pop up, and you you catch them, and they go down, and then you reach the shop. The window's spiderwebbed but not broken out yet. The door is standing open though. You go in.
Well, so when I come in, I'm coming in with the crossbow up, and I'm expecting trouble.
Make a perception check.
Alma hits me in the head with a pan.
19.
19? Okay. So you hear the footsteps as someone comes into the shop.
Alma's coming out with the arrow, and I'm sure that his parents are not going to be happy about it, but
Okay.
This is
Alright.
how Killian dies.
We all knew it would be
Hold
by
your
the hand of.
tongue.
We all knew it would
Fire.
be. We all knew it would be by the hands of Alma.
So the footsteps are getting closer to the door.
Is there a sign of a struggle in the house?
Doesn't appear to be.
So then I would. Hello?
Killian lives another day.
push the door open, pull him in.
So as you pull me in, I'm like, "Ah!"
His parents are like,
Somebody sharp object!
Who's that? Don't just grab a man and pull him into a room, Alma!
I mean, I did.
I wish I could.
Especially not right now. Hello, Mr. and Mrs. Taylor.
I wish I could.
Good to see you're all okay.
Pull him in.
All right, everyone's fine here, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And I'm gonna leave and head over to the library.
I will follow.
You headed where?
Heading up
Are
to the
your
winery.
parents gonna let you
Okay.
go?
I mean, they could come with, or they can try to stop me. I don't know.
They're
They know there's no stopping you.
yeah, they're pretty well
They know
established
you.
that there is no stopping you. So they're gonna sort of and close the door behind you.
If he dies, he
Do
dies.
I know you?
Click.
Are you obvious that you're coming?
Oh yeah, yeah.
So as soon as we start to leave the house, I'm gonna look at you and be like, "What are you gonna do?"
I'm gonna keep you safe.
Great, go get a knife from your
That's
kitchen.
adorable.
Mom says I can't have knives.
I will go get a knife from the kitchen.
All right.
And now we will go to the winery.
Oh, I'll be safe.
Okay.
Don't die, honey.
Meanwhile, they're in there praying, "Oh, nine
When has he
gods,
ever been
don't let him come back."
So
We'll start anew.
as the night wears on, fires are put out. The last of the creatures are hunted down. Most of them are hunted down and killed. A few of them do escape off
Of course.
into the woods.
Of course.
Into the
Um,
woods.
Just enough that they could start reproducing.
And slowly calm settles over the town of Sutterton.
Throughout the night, my plan was to go check on everybody's
Okay.
where they went off to. Now that I've opened.
So you'll check on everyone. You do see Cabbage's parents and older siblings helping out fighting the fire. So
They're fine.
you assume that Cabbage is back at home with the kids. Looking out that direction, you don't see any fires burning. So it's probably okay.
Meanwhile, Mizuki's enjoying her nice rest
You do see
in a warm bed.
Sipping some tea.
So, are you in your room or are you helping with triage?
I probably went to my room.
So,
It's just
so
like,
you do see the candle, lit candle burning in in the room you know Mizuki is in.
I love that.
I find the sight of blood distasteful.
How
So,
dare these
and you
peasants
do see a
bleed.
you do see the cordon of soldiers around the inn and the wounded being taken there.
How'd the manor fare?
It seems like it's doing all right. Roll me a perception check.
Oh boy.
Your uncle's been taken over by a kobold.
21.
They're like body snatchers now in my
So
mind.
it does. There's a couple of weird spots out beside it that weren't there before. It almost looks like
This marks what happened when you disintegrate something.
no, it looks like a couple of the rocks hit close by it, but then that can't be because it's overgrown with plants and vines and
Yep. The problem resolved itself.
Your grandmother has made new additions to the garden.
Friendly bushes everywhere.
These lovely rocks, Killian, that I've added to the garden.
And then the two of you finally make it up to the winery. And you do see that the house is shifted on its foundation. It's leaning over. It's not in good shape.
It's a timber movie.
You go around to the back and you find Adrian sort of sprawled in the grass. His mom, who is laid there Her eyes are closed, and Simi is kneeling over her, tending to her wounds.
Don't kill her.
What?
Why would you do that?
I'm
Are
not.
you okay?
I'm just tired.
I'm working on
Adrenaline
it.
stopped.
Give me a minute.
Wait,
I gotta.
wait. You're tired?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna come over and check him for a concussion.
Make a medicine check.
19.
I could have a concussion. I don't know.
He actually does have a concussion.
I will begin to administer first aid
All right.
because I am proficient in medicine.
I will enjoy it.
I don't have any
I love you, Braden.
Killian, when you finish up there, I have a favor to ask.
What's up?
We'll talk about it later.
So while you guys are all sort of gathered up there in the winery, there is the sound of a horse's hooves clip clop on the road outside, and they pull up to a stop, and you hear someone dismount and the crunch of gravel as they walk around the house. You look up and you all see a courier, a messenger.
Oh, a courier. A quarry.
I'm looking for an Adrian. Remind me of your last name.
Hearthfire.
I'm looking for an Adrian.
He's here. He's here. He's the man sitting on the ground.
Seems to be a bit of an exciting night for you.
Yeah,
It's
I
been
wouldn't
an
try
exciting
and
week.
go back wherever you came from. I would stay here for the night, or maybe the week.
That sounds smart. Oh,
I'd say for the rest of
And
your life, we
he-
don't know what's happening in the future.
and he sort of backs away, and you hear his feet crunching in the gravel and the sounds of the horse going along with him as the sound disappears into the night.
I will open the letter.
Dear Mr. Heartfire,
We are happy to announce we have accepted
We are-
your application.
actually, yes, we are happy to announce that we have accepted your application to be a member of the to be a member of the Empress's Royal Guard.
I got in.
Your presence
Pay
is
for the
required in Costas at your earliest convenience.
Costas.
It's the capital.
That's the capital.
Well, I got accepted.
Congratulations. I know that this is something that is really important to you.
Yeah.
Do you pass out?
Yeah.
So as soon as I'm like,
hold on, hold on.
no!
Yeah, I pass out.
I'm like
That's an
frantically like,
unnatural one.
I'm like pouring water on your face, and
I'm back.
Smelling
I'm
fire
back.
out.
I'm back.
And fade to black.
Yep.
And that is where we will end it for the evening.
No.
Steven has a thing.
Oh, Stephen has
Oh,
a
right.
thing.
Alma, once Alma can
Luke-
pull you
Luke-
out
Luke
of
will-
earshot, I want to go back and get the winged one.
wait.
What?
I
I want to stuff it and put it in my bedroom.
I need to know more.
Like how much more?
Like how it did what it did. Also, it had wings.
And those are
Well, just help me take it back to my house. And
Where are you gonna put it in your house?
in my room with everything else. Don't worry, my parents don't
No,
live there.
we are not putting a dead body in your room. That is not how you handle remains.
We can put it out back then. I just need. You are welcome to join me. I'm pretty sure it was doing magic.
Yes, I know it
And
was
if it
doing
can fly,
magic.
those wings are really small, which means it uses magic to fly.
Yes, of course it uses magic to fly.
Then I want to look at it. You will help me, right?
Fine, but we're keeping it at the apothecary. No one will notice it amongst all the other dead things.
That's fair.
Do you know where this
Checks out.
large jar came from that's now in the corner?
And I guess we go retrieve a corpse.
Except it's not there.
Oh. Even, I was about to say,
If
even
that
though
one is
I
in there, then I will take a different
tossed a
one.
glass into its face.
Are any of them there?
No.
Oh, they have regeneration.
How hard is it for us to figure out that
They
they
need
got up
to.
and walked away?
They need fire or acid.
Carnage.
Make a survival check.
They appear to be walking in a single row. Whereas goblins
12.
travel in pairs. To hide their numbers.
There are tracks there that weren't there before, leading off into the woods.
See, I told you it was a good idea to come get the body.
Oh, that's going to be a problem.
Yep.
Oh, that's not good.
On the bright side, maybe they'll run into the beetles.
And that's where we'll call it.
That's
for
where
the
we'll
night. So thank you so much for joining us tonight, guys. Hope you guys had a lot of fun. We are just getting started with this campaign. These characters, believe it or not, have been playing as level 0. They have very few of their skills. They have none of their classes, none of their abilities. They're going to pick those up in time for next session. So next session, these guys will actually level up and have their actual abilities and classes. This has been sort of an idea I wanted to try out, running rookie characters, and I think these guys have smashed it out of the park. Speaking of smashing, if you're watching this on YouTube or looking at it on YouTube,
What a segue!
smash that like button. Make sure that you ring the bell so that you get all of the announcements when we go live. We do put all of
Whatever
our
that thing is.
we do put all of our sessions on the YouTube channel, so you guys can go back and watch anything at any time you want to. Currently on the channel, we've got all of our last 2 campaigns. My run through Tomb of Annihilation, which I did, as well as Danny's short fill-in.
I was about to say your run.
Short fill-in campaign that she just finished up. We also have some one-shots and a series we call Cover Your Assets, where we create custom content for D&D 5th edition. You can also check us out on Discord. We've got a Discord server up and running where you can get all of the news and stay up to date with what's going on with us here on this channel, as well as with Kyrie and Danny's creative streams when they go live. We've also got a section there where we are putting creative stories that have happened behind the scenes with these characters, as well as reminders about the streaming and replay and YouTube schedules for when those videos go live.
I intend on having the short stories stop looking guilty. It's not your fault.
I mean, it is your fault, but you don't need to feel guilty.
I intend on having the stories for our current character asides up probably in the next couple of days. And pretty much the way these things work is if we have something that we want to do that we feel like might eat up too much time on screen, we text the crap out of each other and end up writing a short story based upon based upon the text thread that we've created. So I should have several of those up in the next probably day, because pretty much I just want to make sure it gets okayed, and then we've got to do a little bit of administrative stuff to make sure it happens. So that should be up in the next couple of days if you are interested in short stories regarding that.
All right, I think that's pretty much all that we've got for tonight. Hope you guys had a lot of fun. Do come back and join us next week at 6 o'clock Mountain Time. Until then,
Grab your bats and grab your balls!
and remember, if all you have is a hammer, everything looks like a glass house. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Bye.